thin, rotting arms and legs. The woman who was dying right in front of the main character was her mother. Mom told Serena that she was very sorry. The girl was crying. Mom said that the paper she gave her. Serena said that she had that paper. The main character is the daughter to whom she gave life. Her mother told her that she should leave immediately when she died. And also, the main character was a daughter, born to a woman for the second time. The woman asked Serena to answer her. The mother also told the little girl that she loved her. It was painful for the main character to watch this. Her heart seemed to be slowly freezing, and Serena couldn't believe that this cold woman was really her mother. In the main character's memories, her mother always shone with beauty and health, and when she called with her velvety voice to hug her, all fears disappeared. The main character's mom, who was only worried about Serena until the very end, and she still remembers her first birth. When her mother looked at her dying from a terrible disease, her eyes were full of tears and despair. The main character thought that this was the end, but later, when Serena was in her mother's arms again, she wondered if her mother could find the words to express her feelings. Mom greeted her daughter Serena and said that she was her mother. The main character was glad to see her beloved and sweet mommy. She whispered words of love into her ear every time, and raised her, putting her whole soul into her for 7 years. However, sometimes she seemed lonely, and Serena assumed she was remembering her when she was her first daughter. And now Serena feels the same fear for her mother, who will be alone forever. Because Serena is here to stay. As a first and second daughter, Serena is grateful to have been her mother twice, because Mom really is hers. The paper with the spell that Mom gave Serena showed her the way north. She didn't know how long she had been wandering, and Serena had no idea where that paper was leading her. The main character's mother was a sorceress, so they had to look for a long time for a place where they could be safe. They were hiding and on the run. Serena really wanted it to lead her to her mother. It was unclear if anyone had found her, or if her mother was sleeping peacefully. She kept wondering if her mommy was still lying there. Serena remembered her mom, and it hurt her a lot. The girl cried and called for her mom. Serena didn't know where to go. Now she had nowhere to go back to. The man asked if she was awake. He asked the little girl not to be afraid. The man thought she was lost in the forest, so he decided to take her to the settlement. He asked Serena if she minded if they went to the doctor and looked for a place to stay. Mom told Serena not to trust the kindness of strangers. The little girl remained silent, but still said that she did not have money to go to the doctor. The stranger said that in that case they would come to his doctor friend, and she would not have to worry about money. Serena said her mother assured her that if she went with a stranger, she could get into trouble. The man noted that she had a wonderful mother. However, the man hopes that the baby will trust him, because he does not want anyone to die again today. He said that he will bring the child to her mother after the doctor treats her. It was very windy and cold there, so the master asked the child to cover himself. Dorcas felt the same warmth that came from her mother. When the main character woke up, she saw hair that looked like hers. She couldn't believe that she had been exposed. Pink hair is rare. Serena's mom told her she had to be careful so people wouldn't notice the color of her hair. So her mom said she might get sold. If Serena falls into the hands of the wrong people, of course. The little girl grabbed the man by the head. She said he was wrong and her hair wasn't pink, so he shouldn't take her. The man asked her to calm down because she had nothing to be afraid of and asked her to look at him. The man asked the little girl if her mother's name was Ariel. The man was very happy that he had finally found her. He began to hug Serena. He told the little girl that she should come with him. Serena asked him to wait and asked if he knew her. The man calmly answered that he did, but Serena didn't understand who he was and asked. The stranger said that his name was Edwin Lavashin, and he was her father. He hugged the girl. Edwin turned to Serena and said that she had no idea how long he had been looking for her, and Serena had no idea what he was thinking. However, now Edwin is truly happy. The main character did not understand whether this man was really her father. He said that later he would explain everything to her in detail, and one thing Serena needs to know is that he is indeed her father. Edwin knew that it was hard for her to accept everything so suddenly. However, he asks her to take his word for it, and in their free time they will talk about everything and get to know each other better. When Serena met her father, she wanted to shower him with accusations and ask why he only showed up now. But Serena didn't have the heart for it, because it felt like he was barely able to breathe, and she wondered what exactly was causing him so much pain, and if he suffered as much as Serena. The girl said that she believed him. He thanked the little girl. The main character wanted to know what kind of person he was. Edwin said that it was still freezing, so she should cover up. Serena felt a bit awkward being around someone she had just met. It was strange. Every time this man stroked Serena, she got goosebumps. She supposed it might be because she had never met anyone other than her mother. Mom took Serena only to deserted places and cut her off from the outside world. Serena wanted to ask her mom why, but Mom just asked the baby to sit in one place for a while. Serena couldn't ask her mom anything about it, because she was trying so hard to protect her. Mom apologized to the baby for leaving her. That's how Mom raised Serena alone. The baby started screaming that her mom was still in that house. Serena said that her mother was there alone and should not worry, because he took her to a place where she could rest in peace. And later, Edwin would take Serena to her. The little girl decided that when he said those words about how he couldn't survive if someone else died, it meant her mother was dead. The little girl asked how long he had been looking for them. Edwin said since they disappeared. The man said he had been looking everywhere, so now it's hard for him to find a place he hasn't been to. And finally, he got to that place, but Serena wasn't there. And Edwin only found Ariel's frozen body. Edwin took his beloved in his arms and asked her to wake up. At that moment, he could not think of anything. When he came to his senses, he found a piece of paper with her. It was a paper with a spell on it. And then Edwin went in the direction indicated on the paper, thinking that this was the last chance to find his daughter. However, before Edwin entered the forest, the paper was blown away from his hands. Now Serena realized that he was deep in the forest. Serena assumed he was very scared to be alone. Edwin promised that he would tell her everything in detail when they got home. There were many stories he wanted to tell her. He thought that the story of his life with his mother would be interesting to her. In a world where only the two of them existed, their story is about how people loved and supported each other day after day. The man asked Edwin something about the baby. He only said that she was a princess and they were going to the palace. Serena was in complete shock. Edwin asked what was wrong and asked if she was hurt anywhere. The little girl repeated, "Your Majesty." Edwin said that Serena must be surprised, but she doesn't have to call him that. And he thinks it would be better if she called him Daddy. And if Serena is having a hard time, he won't rush her. And Serena also needs to drink water for hiccups. The main character couldn't understand what His Majesty meant. And then it dawned on Serena that her father was an emperor, ruling a country. Serena remembered her mother saying that the emperor had 3 terrifying sons. Besides, as far as Serena knew, the empress had died a few years ago. Serena assumed that her mother was a concubine, a commoner who had gained the emperor's favor. But her mother was not a commoner. The memories are fuzzy, but Serena is certain that Ariel was not a commoner when she was first born. And now Serena couldn't understand why her mother had run away when she was carrying her. She assumed it was because her fathers from her past life and her current life were different people. There's so much Serena doesn't know, and she doesn't know for sure if nothing will happen to her. If Serena's mother isn't a concubine, then Serena is an illegitimate child. The girl thought that she might be hated for this, because she was the one who dared to invade the imperial palace. Edwin noticed that his daughter had a fever. The main character didn't know what to do, because the very thought made her shudder. Serena had no idea if she could get along with her brothers, but Serena has nowhere else to go, and the little girl will be content with little, happy that at least she can live. So Serena begs them not to throw her out. The man entered the carriage and asked if this child was the one. Edwin said that everything was so. Serena did not understand who was there, because she heard someone's unfamiliar voice. He said that he had not yet prepared a personal palace for Serena. Therefore, the girl would live with him in the Palace of the Sun for some time. The man agreed, but he noted that the girl should have already turned about 7 years old. And he didn't understand why the baby had such a tiny body, and it seemed like she could fly away from a light gust of wind. Serena was surprised by how small she looked. Her mother lovingly told her to grow up slowly. like a young tree that is watered day after day. Thanks to her endless love, Serena was basking in the rays of happiness. Edwin thought that upon arrival, he would have to meet with the imperial physician and the head of the kitchen. And now Serena can sleep peacefully, because she is next to her dad, and she shouldn't worry about anything. Serena didn't understand why there were flowers on her head. It was also the time when she and her mother would go to look at the blossoming spring flowers. Her mother really loved those that were similar to the shade of the baby's hair. In the summer, they fanned each other to escape the heat. And in the fall, collecting fallen leaves, they tried to bake sweet potatoes, which almost ended in a fire. In the winter, Serena, who had no friends, was expertly made friends out of snow by her mother. Precious memories that she can now only see in her dreams. Serena was her mother's favorite daughter. Her mother knew that Serena would be hurt and sad without her, but she would never be alone. And Serena must not forget that there are people in this world who cherish her and love her. The girl did not believe that someone could love her as much as her mother did. The father noticed that Serena had apparently woken up. He said that the baby could have slept a little longer. The man turned to the father and said that he had scared her. But Edwin said that Serena was confused because of him. He told him to look at the way the child kept looking at him. When Serena looked at the boy, she saw an absolute mini copy of her father. The boy had the same eyes and pink hair. The girl didn't know what to do because she wasn't fully prepared yet. Serena didn't know how to behave with a person she was seeing for the first time. Edwin told Serena to introduce herself. He introduced her to the crown prince of the empire and her oldest brother. Serena was very surprised by this. The little girl didn't know what to do when their eyes met. They finally met. Serena didn't know what to do because he was so angry. Serena only asked that she not be thrown out of the carriage. The boy said that it was nice to meet him, and noted that as far as he knew, the little girl's name was Serena. The crown prince said his name was Theo Ursel Levashan, and he would be her older brother. He noted that family members simply called him Theo. The girl decided that he was not showing that he didn't like her, because her father was nearby. Theo said that he would be happy if the little girl addressed him in the same way. Such a radiant smile, as if the sun had descended from the sky. He looked like a prince from a fairy tale. Serena had a feeling that he didn't like her, and she was already beginning to wonder if her assumption might be wrong. Theo noticed that their precious baby was hiccuping, and so he ordered water to be brought to her immediately. Serena thought he was being very kind to her at first, and thought she was right. Theo was asking if everything was okay. Edwin was telling her to drink slowly. However, Serena feels very burdened. Serena noticed that Theo's hair shimmers like gemstones, and such a majestic man is her brother. Compared to him, Serena. Theo took a lock of his sister's hair and noted that the color was simply charming. The emperor noticed that the shade of her hair was softer than theirs, and it felt as if spring had blossomed on their baby's head. Serena is ready to sink into the ground from embarrassment, and she would rather be thrown out of the carriage. They asked Serena if she knew that she had two more brothers with a similar shade of hair. The boys were in a hurry because they thought the emperor should have arrived by now. They shouldn't have kept that child waiting for them. Father said that the brothers were looking forward to the meeting, and very soon Serena will be able to see them. The girl was surprised that they were really waiting for her. The thought alone made the little girl tremble with fear. The emperor, crown prince, and princess were greeted. The little girl saw the imperial palace for the first time. In the distance stood two people with pink hair. Serena decided that these two were her older brothers. The eyes of one were like violets, and she saw a fairy in front of her. And the other brother has such tousled and wavy hair, like he's a kitten. Father introduced Serena to her second older brother, Lorraine. And Trail's older brother, Lorraine, said the baby's name was as beautiful as she was. He introduced himself and said she could call him Rain, and Trail said she could call him Brother Trail. Everyone was happy about the little girl's arrival, and so she decided she should be brave too. The little girl finally said that her name was Serena. Rain couldn't believe that such a sweet voice existed. He noticed that her brother would fly into the sky with happiness, and Serena's young sprout-colored eyes were beautiful too. Her brother said that his little sister definitely didn't have a single flaw. Serena was surprised that all the members of the imperial family were so beautiful and kind. They were all like angels. The little girl barely said that her brother was even more beautiful. Rain didn't know what to do, because even her words were sweet. And then he offered to hug his handsome brother once. But the emperor quickly walked away. Theo said that the father was tired to death, and the child was also very tired, so they would first go inside and talk after resting. Serena didn't understand why her brothers kept looking at her. Theo said that even though she was his little sister, she was very cute. Rain remarked that she was charming. The little girl hoped they had made a good first impression of her. Today, she had to tell the kitchen manager to cook the best meat. Rain said their little sister needed to gain weight first, although she was still very cute. Trail noted that she only had enough meat for one bite. Serena was scared because she thought they were going to eat her, and she figured that was the only reason they were so polite to her when they first met. The girl decided that from now on, she would have to be as quiet as possible. Serena decided that she would sit still and not be distracted by anything. One of the chairs looked very comfortable. Serena felt like sitting on it would feel like sitting on a cloud. The little girl didn't understand why everyone was looking only at her, and so Serena assumed that she had made some kind of mistake. Trail asked the little girl if she thought the chair was unusual. The little girl said it looked comfortable. He said she could sit down if she wanted. The emperor told Serena that everything was fine, and she could come and sit down. The little girl tried the chair. It was very nice and soft. Serena didn't know what to do, because she had unwittingly shown too much interest. Theo noted that the little girl seemed to like the chair. The crown prince said he would choose an even bigger and softer one and send it to the little girl's palace. The other brothers told Theo not to rush ahead. Trail said he would send Serena the softest, biggest bed. Theo said he would send a doll too, and Trail said again he would make a playroom for the baby. And that room would be lined with mattresses so Serena could frolic as much as she wanted. Theo said he was the whole palace. Trail asked how much longer his brother would continue. Serena said she was grateful, and noted that her mother told her to say thank you when someone does something for her. So basically, she doesn't ask for anything from them, and Serena just wants to say thank you. The little one said thank you very much. Theo asked Serena what she wanted her brother to do. He couldn't even imagine that, when he had a little sister, he would feel this way. Trail remarked that they were cute. The man did not understand why the imperial physician was so late. The servant apologized, because it was presumptuous of him to say such a thing to him, but he asks the emperor to wait. The emperor said that he should try to say wait again. The little girl understood that a healer is the same as a doctor, and did not understand why he was called. The doctor arrived, and the emperor allowed him to enter. The man greeted the son of the empire. The ruler said to leave the greetings and check the health of the princess. The man sat down next to Serena and asked the princess if she would mind if he asked her a few questions, and noted that she should not be afraid of him, but simply answer honestly. The doctor asked what the baby usually ate. Serena started listing mashed potatoes, vegetables, and sometimes she ate red fruits, which ripen in the fall, and also the bread her mother bought and some meat. The man asked how many meals she had had. Serena added that she had days when she ate only once, and she ate twice too. The doctor said that she said there was nothing serious. The doctor noted that she must have suffered frequently from frostbite and had pain in the area of her toes. At first, she would need to take the medicine he prescribed and keep her feet and hands warm. He said that the princess was growing slower than her peers, but that was only because she was eating less food per day than the norm. Rain asked if she was scared. The emperor ordered him to make a list of the dishes, things, and medicines necessary for the princess. The doctor understood everything. Edwin asked Serena if she was very surprised, and noted that he wanted to check on her well-being. And, fortunately, she has no health problems. Serena thought that he didn't have to care about such trivialities. She wouldn't want him to look at her with such tenderness and say such warm words. Because every time he behaves like this, she feels her mother's absence even more clearly. The baby herself did not notice how she fell asleep. The maid was glad that she was already awake. Serena was grateful to her for her care. The woman said that she did not have to speak to her respectfully, and the princess can address her simply as you. But the girl said that her mother taught her that she should speak respectfully to adults. The maid noted that her mother was a wonderful person, but nevertheless, her status was lower than that of the princess. Therefore, Serena should not address her as you. The girl did not know how to answer her, because she had never spoken to people before. The maid said that she had already finished. The maid asked the mistress if she liked it. The other maids thought it was a wonderful job, and their fingers were already raised. In their eyes, Serena looked simply charming. One of the women said that when the princess grows up, she will become the most beautiful in the empire. The little girl asked again, and they said that she would become the most brilliant and beautiful lady of the empire, no doubt. The maid came and said that the emperor and the princes were waiting for her for a meal. Serena felt cozy and warm. She didn't know if she could enjoy life in a place like this without her mother. She didn't understand how she could be alone at all. The day her mother left, Serena felt like the world was ending. She was afraid that she would be cold and scared all alone. But when Serena met her father at that moment, she was suddenly released from the shackles of permafrost into an unfamiliar place full of bright light and joy. It's a warm and cozy feeling, like a protective mother's embrace. It feels like she's known them for a long time. The brothers were inviting Serena to come inside quickly. They were telling her to eat more. Rain was looking at her and admiring her because she was so cute. Rain said that if she ate too much, she would get sick, so she should eat in moderation. Serena didn't even know what kind of device she could use. The emperor told the little girl to taste every dish. Everything was delicious. The brothers said that if Serena wanted to eat something, she should say so, because her third brother would put it on her plate. And then the little girl's face changed. The brothers didn't understand what had happened. Trail asked if she was in pain. The emperor noticed that she had only touched the food a couple of times, and she was already feeling ill. He ordered that a doctor and the kitchen manager be called immediately. Edwin didn't understand who dared to harm his daughter. Serena said no, and she just wanted to thank him. Serena thanked him very much. Father said that Serena was thanking her too much for little things, and said that in that case, he should thank her too and apologize. The emperor said that she had to face so many hardships alone, waiting for her negligent father to come, and he was grateful to Serena for her survival. And he apologized for not being able to protect her mother. He apologized for her father being too late. Serena knows that feeling of helplessness when nothing can be done. But nevertheless, her dad did not give up and continued to look for them. At that moment, when her father said those words of apology, his look was filled with sadness and loneliness. Serena wasn't the only one who was sad about her mother's death. The little girl started to cry. All the brothers immediately jumped up. They started hugging their little sister. The girl missed her mother very much. The emperor could not utter a word when he saw his daughter crying, because he knew the reason for her tears. Theo asked his father if everything was okay. Edwin said that everything was fine. At least he had managed to find Serena. And then the son asked where the woman lived. The crown prince told his father that he was not the little child he had been then, and he too had a right to know. His father said that she lived in a miserable hut, and he added that she had left a letter. Now the curse that hung over Serena was lifted. So they had only one thing to do. It's to protect Serena so that something like this never happens again. Serena was Theo's favorite little sister. It was a child whose eyes held the green of a forest, illuminated by the sun's rays. But a child who was to receive universal love, not used to communicating with people, what they consider quite natural for a baby, on the contrary, a child who knows nothing, and he was forced to deal with so much adversity alone. Theo asked if his father was going to tell Serena about everything. The emperor said yes, but not now. And Theo added that when she was stronger, both physically and mentally, then he would again. Serena was no longer alone. In the meantime, Theo will crush everything that can harm this child. Serena had that dream again, where her mother asked her to wake up. Serena's memories from her past life, when she was first born as Ariel's daughter. Mom is injured. She told her mom that she can't use magic in this state. The little girl didn't know what kind of place it was. But there was someone else there besides them. She had no idea who that person was. Serena decided that she had this dream because she missed her mother. She was very curious about who this person was, and it seemed to her that she had seen him somewhere. His face was so painful, as if he was the one who had been hurt. She needed to wash her face first, and then think about it again. Rain burst into the room and wished his little sister good morning. He asked if the little girl had slept well. She did not want to answer because she was the second daughter. Rain approached the little girl and asked if she was okay. He ordered the imperial physician to be called immediately. He apologized to Serena and said that her brother was a real idiot. Rain told her not to worry because she just had a small nosebleed. Brother looks like he is 100 times worse than her. Rain said that everything is fine and the doctor will come soon. Someone burst into the room. It was the emperor. He was asking what had happened. Rain said he had opened the door too wide and accidentally hit Serena. He asked Lorraine if he dared to open the door carelessly. The little girl asked to listen. Rain apologized, and the little girl said that it was not her brother's fault. Serena said that she was lost in thought and didn't notice, and asked in general not to scold Lorraine. Her brother asked her if he was worried about her. The little girl said yes. She had lost count of how many times the imperial physician they had called had repeated that she was fine. The emperor asked if the baby had any other injuries besides the bleeding. Rain said that his father had said that Serena's eyes looked a little strange. The doctor said that her eyes were a little swollen because Serena had just woken up. And once all the questioning was over, Serena was finally able to have breakfast with her family. That was the reason they were late for breakfast. Theo asked if he meant to tell them that Serena had managed to hurt herself early in the morning. Rain told Theo that this was because he opened the door and had no idea Serena was standing there. Theo said that he expected something like this from Trail, but not from Lorraine, and he made all the mistakes possible. Trail didn't understand why him first. Nevertheless, his father ordered him to tear down all the doors so that this wouldn't happen again. Serena was shocked that it was true. Theo told his sister to eat vegetables. The emperor noted that medium-sized doors would be installed, and the baby won't have any trouble opening them again. Serena asked if they were doing it because of her. But Edwin said he just didn't like the design. The little girl knew it was a lie. He paid attention to even such trifles for his daughter's sake. Her father said that her brother cut the meat for her. Theo asked her to chew it thoroughly. The main character heard that illegitimate children are not loved, but she didn't know if it would be okay if she received so much care and love, because she needs to be given something in return. Trail asked Serena what her favorite color was. The little girl asked again. They ordered the room and the whole palace to be furnished in that color, right down to the flowers of a similar shade in the garden. Serena said that her favorite color is pink. Theo said that he likes this color too. Rain decided to not be left behind and noted that he also likes pink. Serena was just wonderful. Rain told her that there were many beautiful flowers blooming behind the imperial palace, so he wondered if she wanted to see them. Trail told Serena he wanted to go too. Dad said they'd see each other at dinner, and Theo mentioned that he'd like to go for a walk with Serena next time too. The brother took the younger Trail with him and told him that it was time to stop talking. But Trail didn't understand and didn't want that, so he got out. Trail said he would definitely run to her after practice and apologized for the coincidence. Rain wanted Trail to leave already. Lorraine offered his hand to Serena and asked if they would go. He remarked that he would accompany her to the garden. Lorraine was the spitting image of a prince from a fairy tale. Serena asked her brother if spring had come here. The guy asked the little girl if she knew what magic was. He was just a cutie. The girl said she knew what it was. The reason the body was there was because of her. The garden was under a magic spell that kept the air warm. This was so that all these flowers could please the eye with their beautiful bloom. Serena asked if it meant that this spring was created by magic. Lorraine said that it was fashionable to say so. He noticed that Serena really did look like her mother. The little girl began to cuddle up to her brother. The prince was immediately frightened and thought that she was in pain or was feeling sick. He told her to speak up quickly if she was experiencing any discomfort. The little girl asked her brother why he was so caring towards her. Lorraine said it was because she was his little sister. Serena said that she was an illegitimate child after all. Lorraine couldn't understand where she had gotten that idea from. He knew she had been thinking about it alone all this time. Rain didn't know where she heard those words, but it wasn't like that at all. It surprised Serena. Rain was telling the little girl that she wasn't an illegitimate child. Serena asked again, Rain said that her mother was an empress, so the purest blood of the imperial family flows in her veins. And Serena is Theo and Trail's biological sister, and Lorraine is an illegitimate offspring. Serena was in complete shock, because it wasn't she, but Lorraine who was the illegitimate child. And without knowing it, Serena asked him to tell her more, because she had absolutely no idea what had happened. Rain said that this is all he can see for her. But he apologized and said that he was really sorry. And her father himself will tell her everything soon, because to her great shame, she has no right to tell anything. Because of him, she has faced so many difficulties. Mama was an empress, and Serena is a princess, not a bastard. She would like to ask a few more questions, but Lorraine looks too sad. Serena said she would wait so he shouldn't worry and apologize. Suddenly, they heard a loud call. Rain noticed that her brother bear had arrived. Trail reported that Serena's cute third brother was here. He noted that he had arrived quickly. Trail asked if she would give him a hug for trying so hard to finish the workout. The baby was lost in thought, and Trail decided that he smelled of sweat, so he apologized for being in such a hurry and not having time to wash himself. But Serena said there was no sweat smell. She offered to hug him, holding her arms out to Trail. The boy agreed with a smile. Trail smelled like fresh air. The boy asked Lorraine if Serena was really hugging him. Rain said that it was. The prince hoped very much that this was not a dream. Rain said that it was not a dream and noted that finally his training with the dolls had borne fruit. Serena wanted it to stop because she was going to burn with embarrassment. Trail apologized and said that she was so sweet and that's why he couldn't resist and wouldn't do it again. The girl asked what it was. Lorraine said it was a video sphere. Having captured a moment on it, a person can watch it again at any time. The little girl asked if that was magic too. Rain said it was absolutely true. Serena asked if Rain was a wizard like her mother. Lorraine said that it was fashionable to say so. It turns out that the brother is a magician, and that's amazing. Trail asked Serena if she knew that, although he is not a magician, he is a very strong knight. Also the commander of the knightly order. The little girl said she knew, and Rain asked Serena to look the other way. Trail asked to see her too. Serena told her brother that he was amazing too. And that day during dinner, there was a little commotion. The emperor wished her a bon appetit. The little girl was very grateful. Theo asked her if she liked it. Serena said that the meat just melted in her mouth. Theo remarked that this was a great relief, and that the head of the kitchen would be pleased to hear it. Trail turned to Theo and wanted to say something, but Theo was busy cutting meat for Serena. Theo said to save his useless chatter for later, because he was cutting up some meat for Serena. Trail said that Serena called him brother today. The emperor and Theo were shocked. Serena didn't understand why such an atmosphere had suddenly arisen. She had already thought that she couldn't use the word brother. The main character knew that she would probably get scolded for calling Trail brother. Theo said that he would also like Serena to call him brother. Theo asked for it. The emperor told Serena that she probably had a hard time saying father, so he advised her to use the word dad because it sounded softer. Serena asked again if she could really address them that way. Rain said he had almost forgotten about the videosphere that had Serena on it. The main character knew approximately that this was the moment when she was in the garden with her brothers. Trail asked Lorraine to give him this videosphere. Rain didn't understand why he would give it to Trail. His brother said that he was imprinted on it too, and he had the right to it. Lorraine asked why he couldn't prove that it was him on the sphere. Trail said he could see his curly hair there. Rain said he wasn't the only one in the imperial palace with pink hair. Serena called her brother. She had the right to do so too. The emperor turned to Lorraine and said that he thought they had much to talk about and told him to speak if there was anything he wanted. Theo said he was ready to fulfill the request Lorraine had made of him last time. Rain was pleased. They agreed to meet in the office. When the situation was resolved, everyone was in high spirits, except for Trail. Theo said that he had been told about Rain's conversation with Serena in the garden. Serena assumed that it was probably Trail's doing. The emperor told Lorraine never to speak again of anything he had no right to do. Theo said that his father was right, and Lorraine was also his younger brother, and he should know that if something like this happened again, he would get a scolding. Even with that said, Lorraine can't just give them the video of Serena. The man runs up and asks what happened to Theo and Rain. Theo says Rain called him brother. Serena was asked if she liked the food that was served for dinner that night. The little girl said that she did, and it was very tasty. Words repeated by the maids who visited the study after dinner. Father said that he would count on Rain from now on. Lorraine said that he would then expect a fair reward for his efforts. Theo said that there was no need to worry, because it was a lifelong contract. Theo questioned the maids if they noticed any inconvenience for the princess. Theo said he thought Serena was embarrassed to ask them in person, so the maids had to answer all her questions. The atmosphere was so heavy that there was not enough air. The maids told the little girl that, whatever the case, they believed she was loved in this house. This was the honest truth. It was past bedtime. And if we talk about changes in the daily life of the main character, then from today she sleeps with her father. The father was worried that the baby would not be able to sleep peacefully in such a huge room. He does not want to leave Serena alone in the room, so he sleeps with her. Serena didn't understand if it was possible to refuse a person who was asking for something with such desperation in his head. She couldn't. At that moment, the brothers' faces changed dramatically. The little girl couldn't believe that it was really her dad. Edwin told the little girl that she must be very tired, but Serena denied it, and her father thought that her eyes were closing from fatigue. Serena said that wasn't the case. He was wearing such thin clothes that he could easily catch a cold. However, it was late, so they went to bed. The father wished the little girl good night, and they began to fall asleep together. The man asked the woman to calm down, because he knew it too. The girl said that she could not calm down when they wanted to kill their child. He told the empress that he would solve this problem and not let their baby die. He assured her that he would find a way to dispel the curse, so he asked her not to cry. The main character was shocked because she thought she died because of an illness, and here we are talking about a curse. Ariel did not understand what this child did. The empress wanted to be cursed instead of her. The emperor asked Ariel to trust him. He kissed her. He promised that he would definitely protect her and the children, and then the main character's dream began to end. She wanted to watch a little more, but woke up. Serena did not understand what it was, because the events were different from what she remembers. The little girl did not understand what her mom and dad were talking about in her dream. The emperor noticed that she woke up very early and suggested that she sleep a little longer. Serena said she had slept well. Dad thought that was odd and remarked that he had heard that long sleep was good for growth. He was surprised that she didn't like to sleep long. One look at her father, and all sleep vanished from Serena. He was more dazzling than the morning sun. Edwin noticed that girls were different from boys. The baby wanted her daddy to put his clothes on first. Theo noticed that his father had arrived. They were getting ready to go. Theo asked Serena if she felt uncomfortable with the change of scenery. The little girl said that she had a good sleep with her dad, and also asked how her brother had slept. The crown prince said he had slept well too, and Edwin asked Serena to call him Daddy. Lorraine and Trail greeted their father, older brother, and the princess. The little girl greeted her brothers. The emperor remarked that he would like to hold her in his arms all day, but perhaps she was uncomfortable. Every second spent with Seryoga is precious to him, so he doesn't want to move away even a millimeter. While he looks at her with such an expression on his face, the girl doesn't know at all how she should react. Serena, you said that she was quite comfortable, and they started eating. Edwin kept saying something to the baby, and it was very annoying for the brothers. The girl did not understand why the brothers were behaving this way and assumed that they had no appetite. Thus, the cozy and at the same time uncomfortable breakfast came to an end. The father did not notice the looks of his brothers, or simply ignored them, as an emperor should do. Suddenly, Serena was grabbed by Lorraine's brother. He asked if she had gone for a walk and if he had disturbed her. The girl suggested that they go for a walk together. Lorraine turned to the little girl and asked if she was comfortable sitting on her father's reindeer. This question confused Serena. Her brother said he just wanted to know if she was comfortable eating in that position. Serena suggested that maybe her brother would like to sit on his father's lap too. Serena said it was comfortable. And then Rain said that maybe she would be even more comfortable on his lap, because he had softer feet than his father. So during the next meal, He invites her to sit on her brother's lap. Lorraine asks Serena what she thinks about this. The main character noticed that apparently all members of the imperial family knew how to use such facial expressions. That day, at dinner, she had to endure those frightening glances. It was like déjà vu. Serena was in a lot of pain. She was scared and tormented. Each time the dreams about her past life become more and more clear. The main character had no idea that her mom and dad had such a hard time because of her. In Serena's memories, she withered like her mother, but she doesn't know what to do if she infected her mother with that curse. Serena is haunted by the words spoken by Lorraine. If she fell asleep again, she didn't know if she would be able to see anything else from her past. Serena assumed that she would have another nightmare. The father asked his daughter if she could sleep. He thought she was being a pest. Then Serena said she had a question. The father was all ears. The father asked his daughter if she could sleep. He thought she was being naughty. Then Serena said she had a question. The father was all ears. The emperor didn't even know what words to use to describe her. She was Edwin's happiness. He said that Serena's mother was strong, beautiful, and always dazzling. And besides, Ariel was a powerful archmage. Serena asked again. And her father said that there was no more outstanding mage in the empire than her mother. Ariel is a great person. Serena was shocked and remarked that her mother was amazing. She asked her dad to tell her more about her mother. Serena remarked that he had little memory of spending time with his mother in his past life. Edwin asked again. Serena realized she had let it slip. Her father asked what she had just said. The girl said that she had not said anything. She realized that she had revealed her secret. The emperor asked Serena what exactly he remembered and what his past life was. Serena didn't know what to do. She knew her father would be very angry. The baby started crying, and her father apologized for scaring her so much. The main character assumed that her dad would hate her now and was sure that he was angry. Dad asked Serena not to cry and to look at him. The little girl asked her dad if he would scold her if she told her everything. Edwin promised that he wouldn't. Serena told her dad the secret she had been hiding all this time, about her chaotic memories from her past life, about her mom and dad who were hurt because of her illness, and how she opened her eyes and became a baby again and met her mother. The mother was happy to see her and said hello to the child. Serena apologized to her father for keeping this from him. Edwin couldn't believe it. He had no idea that she remembered that time. But that was a past life. The little girl asked again. Her father said that she was not born to them a second time, and her mother, using magic, returned her to the time when she was not yet cursed. Father said that she was his and Ariel's first daughter. And he could even imagine how scared she was while she kept these memories a secret. He admitted that he should have sensed Serena's feelings earlier, and he also apologizes to her for keeping this fact from her. Dad said that Serena's brothers should be told about it too. The little girl was surprised, and Edwin said that her mother said that there should be no secrets in the family circle. Ariel told her husband that if he tried to hide something from her, then he would die by her hand. He smiled, and the woman did not understand who would smile like that when he was scolded. The emperor ordered the princes to be called to his room immediately. They immediately rushed in and did not understand what had happened. Rain asked if Serena was okay. Theo asked if his father had said anything important about Serena's memories. Edwin told Trail to keep his voice down. Trail said he wasn't upset with his father's treatment, just very surprised and apologizing to Serena. Theo reported that after listening to his father, he thought he could understand why Serena's memory was jumbled. Edwin noted that it must have been 5-year-old Serena who had erased some of her memories, back when time went back. Rain noted that memory capacity varied with age. Trail didn't know what he meant. Trail told his sister not to worry, because he, too, had no memories of what happened in his life when he was 5 years old. Theo said it was because he was a fool. His father said that now that they had cleared that up, he should tell Serena the whole story. Edwin wasn't sure he'd be finished by dawn, and asked if Serena would be able to listen to him. The little girl agreed. The brothers were ready, too. Her father said that he should tell her about Lorraine first. He noted that Rain would probably not be pleased to hear about it. Theo took his brother's hand, and Lorraine said that he was perfectly fine because his family was next to him. The father was grateful to him. The story goes back to when they first met that girl, long before Serena was born. Her name was Ariel. Despite her common origins, she was a wizard with strong magical abilities. And having become a mage of the imperial court, she continued to improve herself and earned the title of Archmage. She was a beautiful woman with a kind heart who always cared about the safety of the people, giving the emperor invaluable support in his work to unite the empire. The emperor fell in love with her, and he continued to court her endlessly. He told Ariel that he loved her and asked her to become his wife. But Ariel only replied that the emperor was mad because she did not understand how one could marry a subordinate commoner. Theo noted that, knowing his mother's character, it was hard for his father. Edwin admitted that he had been chasing her for 2 years. The man did not give up and continued to court her, but each time she received only a refusal. The emperor tried to stop her because he wanted her to listen to him. It wasn't that he didn't understand her feelings, but he was desperate. For the first time in his life, Edwin met a man he wanted to possess completely. He called and called Ariel. The girl did not understand why he was calling her. Ariel didn't understand what kind of emperor he was, who was unable to take care of his own body, and noted that he would soon be completely bedridden. The emperor said that his appearance disappointed the girl. Ariel said that she was an eccentric with a terrible temper and could be harsh in her expressions. But the emperor said that her character was soft and gentle. Ariel asked if his friend had said that she had a bitchy character. Edwin said that he would call Archduke Jan to him right now so that he would know what kind of person she was. The girl did not understand why he was joking with such a serious expression without a face, and did not even know what to tell her. Edwin said that he knew that the reason was his greed. But Edwin couldn't give up Ariel, because he only wants her. Ariel told him to just try later to say that he regretted it, because then he would be in trouble. Edwin said he wouldn't mind if she scolded him sometime. It was announced that Ariel would be the next empress, and there was no objection. The people of the empire celebrated the wedding and raised toasts to their union. During those happy moments, their first child, Theo, was born. And exactly 1 year later, he and his wife learned of Lorraine's existence. The emperor was busy at the moment, so he ordered to come back later. Ariel asked if he was busy on her way, but he said that he was just bored, because he had too much free time. Edwin asked Ariel what was wrong, because if she had called, he would have come running to her. The girl said that she wanted to see him and have a little chat. Ariel said that she was actually worried about what she heard during tea. The emperor asked again. The wife said that the Marquise of Perdon had taken an illegitimate child into the house to settle the question of an heir. Edwin asked again if she was talking about the elder brother. Marquis Perdon is the only blood relative of the emperor in this world. He did not inherit the pink hair of the ruling dynasty. His personal qualities were inferior in all respects, so he could not ascend the throne. The Marquis was also a dangerous man with boundless ambitions. The emperors heard the news that he tried in every way to solve the problem of succession, but in 5 years of marriage, the couple failed to have a child. Edwin told Ariel that no matter whether he chose the illegitimate child as his successor, he felt very sorry for the child, considering the wounds he would receive due to the negative reaction of the nobles. Ariel said that wasn't the only problem because it was said that the child had pink hair. The fact that a baby with pink hair was born into the Marquis family became a hot topic of discussion in high society. An illegitimate child, not belonging to the imperial family, has pink hair. This alone makes him valuable material for those plotting rebellion. The emperor remarked that he should meet his older brother. Ariel said that he was still a newborn and hoped that he would be okay. Marquis Perdon arrived to see the ruler. The emperor let him in. The man remarked that he hoped that His Majesty had been in good health all this time. Edwin said that he should finish his greetings and ordered him to sit down. The Marquis asked the reason why the emperor had called such an insignificant person as himself to him. The emperor said that he thought the Marquis knew the reason better than he did. The man thought for a moment and noted that it was probably Lorraine. The man asked again, and the Marquis replied that it was his child, who had recently entered the castle of Perdon. Edwin said it was funny that he, who despised illegitimate children, should have named one as his heir. The Marquis noted that he was no longer a youth. It was easier to retire when there was a successor. The emperor asked if this meant that he had decided to take the illegitimate child under his wing as soon as possible in order to preserve his position. The marquis noted that the emperor was very harsh, and he hoped that he would receive a blessing, since he had a son who would become his successor. The emperor congratulated him on the birth of Lorraine. However, even if he wishes happiness to this child, it seems unlikely that the wish will come true. He is also worried about the fact that he is illegitimate. The marquis was grateful for the concern. The emperor ordered an investigation into the marquis's correspondence and inquired about the marquis's biological mother and the current state of the marquis's residence. He also had to find out what movements the brand had made recently and with whom it maintained close contact. The emperor gives 2 weeks for all this. Lorraine's biological mother is a servant at the residence of the Marquis of Perdon. One night, after spending the night with the marquise, she became pregnant, and it is assumed that she died from severe bleeding after childbirth. Lately, the marquise had been corresponding frequently with other nobles. He plans to commit treason using Lorraine. This is just a guess for now. The emperor does not have enough evidence in order to take that child under his protection right now. If the opportunity to take Lorraine suddenly arises, Edwin would like him to enter the imperial palace as his son. She understood that he wanted to make him a member of the imperial family. However, her opinion was important to him. His wife was all for it, and she really liked the idea. The emperor was glad she didn't mind. But it felt like Lorraine had pushed her into the background. Ariel thought it was funny, because he was the one who brought it up first. Edwin didn't know what to do when jealousy was burning inside her. Ariel asked if he was begging for her attention worse than Theo. However, Edwin thinks she should be able to handle everything, both his demands for attention and her love. Ariel said to call her big sister. 5 years passed after that. During the preparations for the banquet on the occasion of Theo's 7th birthday, new news reached the ears of the emperor. The report stated that the Marchioness was pregnant, possibly carrying a son. So 6-year-old Lorraine, who had been deprived of love all this time, was being abused. The emperor didn't know what would happen if the child heard Ariel scolding. He knew she would react that way, so he kept the fact from her until today. The emperor said that it was time and asked his wife for permission to take care of Reina. Ariel must think of herself first because she must not be nervous. Happy birthday to His Highness of the First Principal. Dad asked Theo if he liked the gifts. He was very happy. The prince was very pleased with everything. Because of her sweet son, Ariel completely forgot about something important. She did not understand where that child was. He definitely had to be here. Ariel told her husband that she saw Lauren. He was only a year younger than Theo, but so small. The Marquis was as much a parent as the Emperor, and Edwin did not understand how anyone could treat a child like that. The husband asked Ariel to wait for him. The Emperor would like to thank everyone who came to celebrate the prince's birthday. This banquet is not only open to the prince, but also for all the glittering guests, so Edwin hopes they all have a good time. Lorraine watched all this from the sidelines. The Marquise greeted the Emperor. Edwin congratulated him because he had heard that his wife was pregnant. Perdon was surprised that His Majesty also knew and noted that the rumors had already reached the imperial palace. Edwin added that rumors were like the wind. The Marquis was only grateful for the attention shown. In the current situation, the Emperor was concerned with only one question. After all, he didn't understand how the Marquis planned to resolve the issue of the heir. He knows that Perdon has put a lot of effort into raising Lorraine as his successor, but he thinks it would be better if the heir was a legitimate son. And, by a happy coincidence, they had already marked the child in the womb as their future successor. The Marquise did not understand what the Emperor was getting at. Edwin said abruptly that he was going to make Lorraine part of the imperial family. The Marquise asked him again what he had just said. The Emperor repeated once more that he was going to make Lorraine part of the imperial family. The Marquise had said that Lorraine was his son. Perdon couldn't understand how he, being a parent, could laugh at him and ask him to give him his only son. Apparently, the Marquise had really gone out of his mind, since he dared to talk such nonsense, having done such a thing to his own child. Edwin understood his feelings, but he had to look at Lorraine now and think carefully. Was it because the child looked so skinny and miserable that the Marquis found it hard to bear the responsibility for him? The Marquis justified himself by saying that this child was very picky from birth and did not want to eat many things. The Emperor noted that apparently he did not like the way they cooked in the Marquis's residence. And in the imperial palace, the head of the kitchen is unrivaled, and the table is bursting with a variety of dishes. The Marquis was very angry with the Emperor. Theo approached Lorraine and asked if he was bored being alone in such a place. The prince introduced himself. Lorraine didn't know what to say. Theo knew the boy's name and said it was nice to meet him. Lorraine said it was nice to meet him too. The Emperor asked if the two were not pleasing to the eye when they were together. Edwin said that he had not been able to sleep well lately because that child kept standing before his eyes. He added that the Empress had also given her permission for Lorraine to be received under the protection of the imperial family. The Marquis said that he needed time to think. Edwin asked him if he seemed to be an extremely patient man. He added that he had not asked the Marquis's opinion, because he didn't say that he wanted to make him part of the imperial family. He said that he was going to make him part of the imperial family. The Emperor ordered him to watch his behavior and not to make him think about what he should do at the next dinner party. Besides the fact that today is the birthday of Emperor Theo's son, he has another piece of good news that he wants to share with the guests. Edwin said that he had been informed that the Marchioness of Perdon was pregnant and that his elder brother's legitimate child would soon be born. The guests congratulated him, and the Emperor said that he too had a new family member. This was his nephew, dearly loved by the Marquis, who would become part of the imperial family. And from now on, the Emperor bestows upon him the name Lorraine Arpaci Levashan. The Marquis was very angry that he had even decided on a name. Edwin thanked the Marquis for making such a difficult decision, and added that he would do his utmost to raise him with love and care that would not be inferior to his tender feelings. The Marquis decided that he would certainly repay such insults. He said that he was very grateful to the Emperor for such mercy towards his younger brother. Everyone greeted the moon of the empire. It was Mother Theo. She only glanced at him, and Rain was already cowering in fear. If a child evaluates a simple glance as a danger, then she is afraid to imagine what he had to go through. She was glad to see him and took his hand. Now they were one family. The Emperor noticed that Lorraine was very weak at that time, and even now, when he remembers those days, his heart aches with pain. Fortunately, his condition improved quickly when she came to live with them. Rain added that Theo taught him how to write and helped him overcome his stumbling habit. The Emperor noted that Trail had started school with Lorraine, but was not as good at studying as he was. At that time, they told Rain to call them Mom and Dad. Lorraine added that the two of them bullied him every day and put on dresses. The Emperor said that they simply wanted a daughter at the time. And then came the day when Serena was born. If she asked which of the brothers was most happy about her birth, he would answer without hesitation that it was Lorraine. Of course, when they met again, nothing had changed. Before, the children walked together and were happy to meet their mother. Serena ran very fast to her mother and tripped, but her mother grabbed her. She asked her son if it was hard for him to look after Serena alone. Lorraine replied that not at all, because his little sister was so sweet that he was ready to admire her day after day. Mother also thought Rain was sweet and was ready to admire him day after day. Ariel called them because her father promised to join them for dinner. The little girl was very happy because there would be rice and meat. Those were beautiful and precious days. But the Marquis often visited the imperial palace under the pretext of wanting to see Lorraine, and each time he tried to find a reason to send the boy back. The Emperor believed that even impudence has its limits, and the Marquis's demands were absurd, so he burned his letter. By the time Serena was 5 years old, the happy days of their family that they thought would last were shattered in the blink of an eye due to one incident involving the rebellion of the Marquis. Serena told her mom that she wanted to see her brother Lorraine. Mom said that her brother was practicing his magic, and if they disturbed him, he would get into trouble. The baby was crying, and her mom saw how cute she was, and then Ariel noticed something. Serena didn't understand what was going on. Strange knives were thrown at them, but the mother managed to react and use magic to protect her daughter. An assassination attempt. The Empress didn't know what guild he was from, but he had chosen an opponent who was too tough for him. Or maybe he was just a fool who didn't know who the empress of this country was. But the little girl didn't notice anyone. Ariel noticed that he was hiding like a coward. If she attacked, he would be finished. He came out, and the woman asked who he was. It seemed to her that the bastard threw the knives using mana, not physical strength. But she did not feel any magical power coming from him. And it was unclear what kind of game he was playing. He has unusual magic. Serena saw her brother Rain. The boy greeted her and his mother. But his mother shouted at him not to come near. The baby didn't understand what was happening and called for her mother. She didn't know if her mother was okay. The man used dark magic, which he used to grab the baby. Serena was in his arms. Ariel was telling him to give her daughter back immediately, and he was asking with a smirk if she still realized the situation she was in. The stranger warned the Empress that if she made even the slightest mistake, the girl would die too. Ariel asked if the princess was his target, or the entire imperial family. He didn't understand why she thought that. Now was the time to decide on the title of the crown prince. The Empress assumed that he had been ordered to kill all members of the imperial family, excluding Lorraine. The boy did not understand what was happening to his mother and his little sister. The man said that everything was correct, and as an example, the princess will die in the most painful torments. The woman shouted that a magician of his level should know about the dark sorcerer. Therefore, he must immediately move away from her child. He said that, being a great archmage, she was of course well aware of this. And as Ariel must have known, shadows and curses are the unique abilities of the dark sorcerer. The little girl called for her mother. The mage wondered how long it would take for the curse to reach this child's tiny heart. He handed Serena over and told Ariel that she could now watch her daughter die in her arms. Mom begged Serena to wake up. It wasn't too late. Mom told Rain to go to Dad right now. Mom told him to do it quickly and tell him to keep Trail and Theo safe. Lorraine ran. Ariel saw that the trace was still there. She asked Serena to hold on a little longer because her mother would return everything to how it was. She did the transfer. The Marquis was happy because his era had begun. He was congratulated, but he said that he could be congratulated even after there was not a single person left from the imperial family. The end of the great emperor was coming soon, and the era of their rule had begun. The Marquis did not understand what was happening. Ariel appeared before him. They didn't understand how she had found the mage's trail. She said that he knew perfectly well who she was. Newcomers who know nothing about dark sorcerers would have no way of finding him. But she knows him. He was sent by the magic tower. The man was shocked, because the magical traces had to be sealed. When the Empress saw the seal engraved on his body, she had no doubts. It was thanks to this that she was able to track him down. He turned to the Marquis and yelled at him for not telling him how strong the Empress was. Everyone was just discussing the Empress's power, but no one was pouring out their eyes on how she uses it, because they, of course, knew nothing. What she was like when she entered the warpath. The Marquis thought it was some kind of nonsense, because the information he was given did not match reality at all. Everything started to burn. The Empress noticed that they dared to disturb her without even knowing what was going on. They were complete fools. This is the true face of the Empress. Ariel told the magician that if he lifted the curse, she would show mercy one last time. He said that was nonsense and he would never tell her how to dispel the curse. The curse was not cast on the princess to be lifted later. It was sheer naivety. Ariel then said he would die. The Marquis ordered not to come near, because he is the one who will become the next emperor. Ariel asked if he still thinks that he could not become emperor because of his blonde hair. Purdon said that it was so, because he was not inferior to Edwin in any way. He looked at people as objects, and he did not care who might die if that death could satisfy his thirst for power. Now, because of him, a fatal end awaits the entire Purdon family. Neither his wonderful son, nor his wife, nor anyone else will be able to get out of here alive. The Marquis began to beg her to stop, but it was too late, and he himself had missed his chance. The house was burning. The Emperor was in complete shock when he saw Ariel. The children were shocked too. Trail asked Theo why his sister's legs looked like that. The Emperor asked Serena to open her eyes and say Dad. Ariel asked her daughter for forgiveness, and she was very sorry. Because of his showdown with his brother, the emperor's dear family suffered. Edwin knew he should have killed the Marquis earlier. After that incident, he searched the entire empire to find a way to break the curse. However, the existence of dark sorcerers was rare, and few people even knew about their existence. Also, at some point, a rumor spread throughout the empire at the speed of light that the princess was casting a curse on the entire country. Currently, only the imperial family knows that Serena was cursed, so it must be the work of the surviving remains of the Marquis henchmen back then. The emperor could not understand how anyone could dare to talk such nonsense, touching on the name of the princess. He ordered everyone to be arrested, and he would personally impose a severe punishment. The servant said that, nevertheless, the nobility feared the damage that the princess's curse could cause, so a petition was put forward at the noble court to expel the princess from the empire. The emperor did not understand who wanted to expel whom now, and apparently, all this time, he had been too soft a ruler. The servant asked for forgiveness and begged the ruler to moderate his anger. Edwin ordered that the words noble court should no longer be spoken in his presence. Although his daughter was dying at the moment, he, the emperor and her father, was powerless to do anything. The husband asked Ariel to go get some sleep, but she only said that the curse was impossible to bear like a disease. He tried to calm her down, but Ariel started screaming about how the curse didn't infect others, like some kind of infection. Edwin asked her to calm down because he knew it too. Ariel didn't understand how she could calm down. Everyone wanted to kill their child. Edwin told the empress that he would solve this issue and not let the baby die. He promised that he would find a way to break the curse, but asked her not to cry. She did not understand what this child had done that was so bad. The empress said that it would have been better if she had been cursed instead of Serena. Edwin told his love that she could trust him because he would certainly protect her and the children. However, panic among the masses continued to grow, and the negative reaction of the nobility was directed towards the imperial family. And then the emperor found a letter from his wife Ariel, in which she wrote that she would definitely return to him. So Ariel, taking Serena with her, disappeared. From that day on, he searched for Ariel and Serena all over the world. Whenever he heard a rumor that similar people had been seen in a certain place, the emperor would immediately go there. Over time, his impatience turned into a dull melancholy, but he steadfastly endured these feelings, picturing in his head that somewhere together they were living happily, and their smiles never left their faces. So 7 years passed. Even on the day of their meeting, Edwin also returned back, unable to find them. At that moment, he heard her voice. He ordered the carriage to stop. Hoping that what he had heard was not a hallucination, he ran desperately in the direction where her magic was felt. The emperor said that it was all his fault, because this wouldn't have happened if he had held them back. But Serena told him that it wasn't his fault. Edwin found Ariel's diary in the empty house. To be precise, it was a report on a study related to the curse. Time was running out like water, and Serena's young body continued to be tormented by the curse, so her mother chose the last possible option: transfer the curse to her body. The emperor asked her if she was a foolish and reckless mother. The baby cried and clung to her father. Simply because the curse affected living beings, she used her life. Theo said that's why she's their mother, and with the remaining magic power, Ariel turned back time and revived her decayed body. They thought the baby didn't know what had happened. Theo apologized for lying to her. Lorraine said they thought she didn't remember. Trail asked to believe that her brother's attitude towards her is sincere, and he thinks about her every day. In general, his words mean. They didn't understand what was wrong with Serena. The little girl admitted that even she didn't know, and her dad and brothers must be sad. But they kept it all to themselves because of her. Serena asked them not to hide anything from her anymore. They agreed and decided that whether it was sadness or pain, they should share it together, because they are family. Edwin didn't understand why Ariel had to make that choice. It would have been better if he had suffered unbearable pain. Every time the emperor thinks about how she tried to save their child alone, in an overwhelming sense of fear, Edwin's heart breaks with pain. If the emperor had given up when he was rejected the first time, perhaps she would be alive and happy now. Even if there were regrets in his heart, he would not miss the second chance he was given. and protect those whom Ariel entrusted to him. The maid ran after the princess and asked her not to run, because it was dangerous for her. But Serena thought that it was not dangerous at all. Serena apologized to May. It was not dangerous because she was protected by 4 special people. Dad, who is the emperor of a great country and has a lot to do, makes sure Serena eats plenty of vegetables. Serena's second busiest brother is Crown Prince Theo. He makes sure that Serena doesn't go out alone because it's dangerous and goes with her. A prominent imperial mage, and Serena's second older brother, Lorraine. He tells the little girl to ask him anytime she doesn't understand something. And despite his young age, being the commander of the first night squad, Serena's third older brother is Trail. He thinks that Serena is a real angel and pays attention only to her. These people are a special family with whom Serena shares her second life. The little girl asked if they were really going to serve cakes today and asked what kind. Serena confused her interlocutor. Theo said that he heard that lemon tart was being made today. Serena asked her brother to come with her quickly. When they arrived, no one was there. Theo was angry because they dared to be late for the dinner that Serena was so looking forward to. He was speechless. But Serena said she wasn't particularly hungry. But Theo said that being late was being late, and there was no need to make excuses for them. He said Serena could eat first, but the baby said she wanted to eat with them. It was a happy day, until one person disappeared. Father ran and shouted to Serena to wait, because Dad was already on his way to her and would save her now. Dad said they were late and apologized to Serena. Trail said she should have sat down at the table first. And Rain wondered if she had been waiting for them for too long. Theo said Serena said she was hungry. Serena tried to stop him. Trail said he was just preparing the party for a military expedition. Serena is hungry, and she did not touch the food, despite the feeling of hunger. Because of them, the child was starving. Serena asked what kind of military expedition. Trail said that his squad would have to deal with the bandits operating on the border of the Empire. Serena asked when he would return, and her brother said in a month. The brother was very angry because he would have to leave the castle for a month because of some freaks. Lorraine noticed that he looked disgusting now. Father noted that the first squad defending the Empire should be even stronger. Trail was outraged and believed that his father had deliberately increased the string. Lorraine apologized for being late. He tried to get free as soon as possible, but it didn't work out. And he asked if she was very hungry while feeding the baby. It was delicious. Trail wondered if he could handle a month without Serena. Dad said that maybe 1 month wasn't enough, so he was adding another week. The father didn't understand what was wrong with Serena because he thought she was looking for something. And then they realized there were no lemon tarts on the table. Father said that if it is served this minute. The emperor ordered all the cakes in the kitchen to be brought here. Now Serena can begin with what she wanted to taste. Theo said that she might have an upset stomach, so the baby should eat slowly. Rain admired how his little sister was enjoying it. The lemon pie that Serena loves so much. At that moment, Trail realized how cool his older brother was. That night, the main character got a severe stomach ache. The baby cried and told her father that her stomach hurt. The emperor ordered to call a doctor immediately. He decided to go to the infirmary himself. The physician began to greet the son of the empire. The emperor ordered the greetings to be abandoned and immediately examined the princess. Edwin did not understand what was wrong with her. The doctor said the little girl had a cold. Children her age often get sick. Indigestion is one of the symptoms. He will give her some medicine. The princess's throat is very swollen, and she should eat only soft food for a while. The emperor asked if there were any other precautions, and whether it was dangerous or could develop into a serious illness. The doctor said that if she systematically takes the medicine during meals, she will quickly recover. And even if she refuses to take them, she should still take the course. The emperor ordered the physician to prepare the best medicine immediately. Serena cannot stand anything that tastes bitter. So the father took care of his daughter all night long. Serena enjoys spending time with her dad, but she doesn't want to take her medicine. Dad told the little girl that she shouldn't take her medicine on an empty stomach. Theo asked if Serena could look at her brother and have another spoonful. It was a very awkward situation. Lorraine told Serena that if she ate everything, he would show her magic, and Trail said that Serena was much braver than him, so she could eat everything. The plate was almost empty, and her father said that Serena was a good girl. Thanks to the caring care of her family, Serena fully recovered in just 3 days. Although Serena's family was sad that they would no longer have to care for and look after her, they nonetheless said that they were much happier to see her glowing with health. Serena noticed that she had gained a little weight. Lorraine said that they had big problems because the baby was becoming more and more beautiful every day. But Serena denied it and said that she was not beautiful. The emperor asked what he was hearing, because she was beautiful. Theo noted that this time his father was absolutely right. Trail also agreed and added that he too had never seen anyone in the empire who was more beautiful than Serena. After all, she is beautiful in both face and heart. The little girl said she didn't know anything and ran off for a walk. Her father told Trail to go for a walk with her, because he would soon have to go on a military expedition. The boy asked his father if he liked to bully his son at that age. Edwin only said that he wouldn't be able to see her for a month, so he shouldn't miss his chance. Trail said they could continue the conversation when he returned. He caught his sister. While Serena was sick, Trail's departure date approached. Brother asked Serena why she was so down. Starting tomorrow, Serena won't see Trail for a month. Trail wanted Rain to launch the videosphere faster. Serena was asking her brother if he would come back quickly and was worried about anyone hurting him. The boy said that, of course not, because he is very strong and will return safe and sound as soon as possible. Because he answers with tears in his eyes, Serena's excitement only increases. The prince had to go to make the final preparations. Trail said that no matter who, he would definitely take revenge upon his return. The little girl asked again, but he only said that she must not catch a cold again. Therefore, the little girl must quickly go inside. Serena said she would like to go out like this again when her brother comes back in a month. Trail didn't understand how he could leave and leave the baby here. She didn't want to leave at all, but he said that they would definitely go for a walk. The prince turned to his father and brothers and said that they would see who would laugh last, and promised to return soon. And he noted that he was capable of doing so. The man did not understand why a chill suddenly ran through him. It seemed to the other that this military campaign would not be easy. Father asked Serena why she was sad. The little girl asked her dad if her brother Trail was strong. Father asked again. Dad said that although he is very young, he has already become a commander who is stronger than any other knight. The next after him is Theo. The little girl asked how old Trail was. Edwin said 15 and pointed out that you wouldn't know it by his height. Theo and Lorraine weren't that tall at his age. Perhaps it was Trail's desperation. Theo kept telling Trail that they had to finish their training, but the boy kept saying he could do more. Theo said that he was too small and didn't need to push himself. Trail was very angry that he couldn't, because his body was too small. Trail said that he had to grow up faster like his brothers and become stronger so that he could protect Serena and his mother. It felt like it was just yesterday. Serena asked to tell about the other brothers too. Father agreed. Theo is now 19 years old. As the crown prince, he is responsible for state affairs. He thought about how he needs to quickly finish his work and go for a walk with Serena. Theo's coming-of-age ceremony is coming soon, a joyful and sad occasion for him. Lorraine is 18 and studying magic with the wizards of the Imperial Palace. He thinks about what spell to show Serena. Among their family members, only Lorraine has a talent for magic. Sometimes he also helps his father and Theo with their duties, and his daughter loves fruit more than sweets. The emperor is picky about food, so it is difficult for him to decide what he would like. Their conversation went in the wrong direction. Although walking in the fresh air is good for her, she feels she needs to do a more active sport. But Serena is still too young to train. Dad thought it would be better to start with exercises to develop small muscles. Serena told Dad that his eyes were sticking together. Edwin told the baby to go to sleep. Serena said goodnight to her dad. Everything was ready. Trail thanked Raina, and Raina told him to be careful. Trail pointed out that there was indeed nothing wrong with being cautious. Theo pointed out that it would be very humiliating if the commander of the Imperial Knights were to suffer at the hands of a band of bandits. The prince said that for him, the gang-busting campaign was like a stroll in the garden. Theo added that the scratches on Trail's sword would need to be checked. Father said he hoped Trail would return without any embarrassing injuries. Trail asked his father not to say that. Trail told Serena her little brother would be back soon. Serena turned to her dad. Trail asked again. The baby told her brother to take care of himself and eat well. She couldn't cry, because if she did, Trail would. The little girl asked him to come back quickly. Trail asked if she could look at him, but the little girl was in tears. Trail added that Seren should remember that she had promised to take him for a walk when he returned, and he would be home again soon. Serena promised she wouldn't forget. Trail promised he'd be right back so the baby wouldn't cry. Trail kissed his sister. Everyone was in complete shock. The guy said goodbye, and the whole squad left the Imperial Palace. When you're sad, sweets are the best solution. Serena said she would love to eat it. Her father asked Serena to eat slowly. He couldn't believe Serena cried over that brat Trail. Father was thinking that he, too, should have pretended to go away somewhere. Theo asked if his throat was dry. Father didn't know what excuse he could come up with. Lorraine said he was full just watching Serena eat. Although Trail promised to return safely, Serena wished she could help him somehow. The servants told the princess that if she was overcome with anxiety, she could write a letter. But Serena didn't know if he would like that. The maid was sure that His Highness would be very pleased. And perhaps, having seen the letter, he would even return faster. Serena told May that she needed paper and a pen. May was glad to see that the princess had regained her spirit. This would be Serena's first experience. Her father came and told his daughter that he had heard that she was writing a letter to Trail. Her father thought Trail was a brat and couldn't understand how he dared to receive a letter from Serena before his father. Her brothers were also angry when they heard who she was writing to. Her father asked her if she was doing well. Serena said that the letters were running in different directions, so it wasn't very good. Theo thought it was too cute. Dad asked Serena what she thought about practicing letter writing. She asked again. And now the brothers understood what his goal was. Edwin pointed out that if it was hard for her, she didn't have to do it. Serena said it wasn't hard, but her handwriting looked weird, and that made her a little embarrassed. The Emperor assured the little girl that the sincerity between the lines was important in the letter. If she wrote the letter from the heart, he thought he would be immensely happy. Dad was ready to drink even poisoned tea with pleasure, if it was Serena who gave it to him. The brothers wanted to tell their father that his face showed what he was thinking. The main character realized that sincerity is important in a letter. Serena said that she would try to write a letter containing sincere feelings. Father asked if this meant he could look forward to her first letter. The brothers almost died of envy. Serena approached her brothers and asked them if she could write them letters too. Thinking about what she should write, Serena ended up spending the entire day writing letters. The little girl finished and was very happy about it. May noted that the princess had done a great job. She hoped that one day she would be able to express her sincere feelings with ease. The maid said that if the mistress was ready, they could go to the addressee. Serena said that they were going to Daddy. The baby came under her father's office. All the guards were touched by the princess. Serena said that she came to see her father. The man said that he would immediately report the visit to His Majesty. The Emperor was shocked to see little Serena waiting for him outside. His instincts were alarming. The little girl handed him a piece of paper. Dad asked if she had come all this way to give him a letter. Serena said she wanted to give it to him as soon as possible and apologized for disturbing him. Dad said there was no need to apologize, and he was just free. The father suggested that the little girl not stand there, but go inside, drink some tea, and read the letter. Serena's level of embarrassment immediately increased. The little girl said that she would go for a walk in the garden and come back. She told her dad to be sure to read her letter all alone. Edwin was very curious about what she had written in the letter. The letter said that she loved her father. Father broke down and ran after her. He grabbed the baby and said that he had the same feelings for Serena, and he loved her so much that it was impossible to put into words. Dad asked her to keep their conversation a secret from her brothers. Serena agreed to this. After that day, Serena felt warm inside, as if she was still in her father's arms. The days in the Imperial Palace flew by at incredible speed. A whole week had passed since Trail's departure. The maids did not know what to do because the princess looked more and more gloomy with each passing day. They asked the little girl where she wanted to go for a walk today. The little girl said that she wanted to go to the Palace of the Sun. The main character didn't want to think about the fact that the letter hadn't reached its addressee. Or maybe Trail was too busy to write her back. Serena missed her brother Trail. She heard children's voices. The princess asked May if someone had visited the palace. The maid reported that Archduke Sperato had arrived at the palace. The princess said she could hear children's voices coming from the other side. May said that the Archduke's children were probably there, and noted that he had a son and a daughter the same age as the princess. May asked Serena, how about going there and exchanging greetings with them? Serena didn't know if she could do that. The maid said that Serena of course could, and in fact, she should be greeted first. According to the rules, the one who occupies the lowest position should greet first. The main character exchanges greetings with someone for the first time, and on top of that, she is the one who has to greet her first, and she doesn't know what to do. The boy said that he thought there was no one there, so he behaved a little impolitely, and he apologized for the late greeting. The boy greeted the little star of the empire and said that his name was Jay Sperato, and next to him stood Lisa Sperato. Serena knew she had to introduce herself too. The little girl barely said that she was Serena Rabin Lavashan. Jay asked to be lenient with them, because compared to what he had heard from his father, the fox made a sharp dash forward and ran up to the princess. She asked Her Majesty if she was an angel or a fairy, but Serena doesn't have wings. But still, the fox doesn't understand how a person can be so beautiful. The princess tried to say something, but she interrupted her. The girl said that the princess's eyes were shining like dew that fell on green leaves, and her hair was probably like the spring fairies. Otherwise, she couldn't understand how such beauty could exist. And besides, Lisa even smells a floral scent coming from Serena's body. Jay asked Lisa to stop. The fox did not understand how she could calm down when she was next to such indescribable beauty. The girl said that the princess was perfect from head to toe. Jay apologized to the princess and added that Lisa was not yet good enough at maintaining etiquette when communicating with strangers. Serena tried to say something, but she was very shy. The fox was very interested in what Her Majesty was saying. The princess said it was nice to meet you and ran away. Jay told his sister that she was the reason the princess was scared. Lisa said that she couldn't help it if the princess was so beautiful. The guy said that her habit of throwing herself at everything that was beautiful needed to be fixed. Jay definitely heard that she was 12 years old. The Archduke asked the children if they had looked around the palace. It was an insanely beautiful place. The children said that they briefly crossed paths with Her Highness the Princess, and they also greeted each other. The Archduke was surprised. The boy said that he heard that she was 12 years old, and her dad replied that she must look younger than her peers now. There are certain circumstances for that, and the father would like them to become good friends with the princess. Usually the father is indifferent to other people, and Jay wonders why he acted differently now. The fox told her dad that she really liked the princess, and she added that the princess would be attending Miss Chelly's tea party, and she would go there too. The father noticed that the little girl was breathing too unevenly around beautiful people. The fox confirmed this and said that the father was not at all handsome. His body looked scary. Dad said that even though his appearance was not perfect, thanks to him, such works of art as the two of them were born. Lisa said that they were works of art from Mom. Her father asked her not to scream because she was becoming terribly ugly. The fox said that seeing how petty he was, she realized the difference in his character and the princess. Contrary to rumors, Her Majesty the Princess is not at all what Jane imagined her to be. She is a member of the imperial family, but it is unclear why all her emotions are clearly written on her face. Serena expected to be ashamed. It was all very embarrassing. However, she had to say hello. A princess who was the same on the outside as she was on the inside. She was an interesting person for the son of an archduke, too. Jane was very curious to see if he could get to know her better the next time they met. The fox didn't understand what was funny about this story. She took her mother's word for it and came here especially. But there isn't even a princess here. The woman said that she knew that Mrs. had also sent an invitation to that princess. The princess who had been cursed disappeared and suddenly appeared again, completely healthy. Although there are voices that the curse has been lifted by God's love, there is also a rumor that the empress was caught harming others and took her own life. As a result, the curse was lifted. The fox was angry because they were whispering behind their backs as if the rumor was true. They were vile creatures. The princess immediately refused. The girl thought that at this tea party, the princess, who had suffered so much, would be able to find consolation. But apparently, she had gone too far. Others thought Miss Shelley was the kindest person and could not understand how the princess could refuse such a friendly gesture. They asked the miss not to take her refusal so much to heart. Shelley said she was fine. One of the women said that perhaps the princess just lacked manners, having grown up in a peasant family. Lisa tried to control herself, and then Shelley said that all this probably means that the curse still remains in her body. The fox could not resist and threw everything around. The fox asked if she had seen the princess. When you don't know anything, one wrong word is enough to lose your head. She asked if the missus was familiar with the postulate of insulting the imperial family, and she added that they shouldn't open their mouths unless they had some indisputable facts. Everyone thought these words were impolite. The fox didn't understand why, because she said what was on the tip of her tongue. The fox noticed that they, too, were constantly making fun of others. And now that they had become the object of condemnation, they were no longer having such fun. The girl asked not to invite her again. Otherwise, next time it won't be a teacup that breaks. Serena was called to her father. He wanted to talk to her about the letter that had arrived. The little girl thought about it and assumed that perhaps her brother Trail had finally sent an answer. Serena was forbidden to run fast. The little girl burst into the room and said that she had been informed that a letter had arrived. The girl was very scared when she saw another person in the room. It was the Archduke. He was surprised that Serena was calling him Dad, and Edwin was telling her to come into the room quickly. Serena didn't understand who this man was. The Emperor noticed that she had run here at full speed, but she could have walked slowly. The man noticed that his presence seemed to have frightened the princess a little. The Archduke turned to the princess and said that he was glad to meet her. And his name is John Sperato, and if we go to titles, then he is the Archduke of this empire. The little girl said she was Serena Raben Lavashan. Ian admitted that his son was talking about her and apologized for his young daughter's rude behavior. Serena said it wasn't worth it. And she, on the contrary, should thank her for showering her with compliments. Ian noticed that even in such a situation, she was so kind and generous. And he didn't understand what was wrong with his daughter's character. The fox asked her father if he was going to meet the princess just like she was. The Archduke said that he was going to apologize for her rude behavior and that he also needed to discuss something with His Majesty. The fox also wanted to see the princess. Father wondered if she thought he was going to the palace to have fun. And she should have been at Miss Shelley's tea party anyway. Fox said that Mother made a big mistake sending her there. Father said that he sees that Fox always speaks without thinking about her words. The girl said that her father looked like a fish ember. This made him very angry. He asked again, and the fox said that he was a fish ember and a good-for-nothing father. Even though she is the daughter of the Archduke, he does not understand how anyone can love her. The Emperor asked Jan if he had already told him. The man asked what exactly. Yesterday, the Emperor's daughter told him that she didn't need friends because she had him. Jan didn't understand why he didn't have such a daughter. Serena didn't understand why her dad was acting like this. Ian said that if you think about it, his son told him yesterday. He understood that the Emperor had called him here just for this. His son told him that he wanted to meet the princess in person and apologize, as he still felt out of place after parting with the princess in such a way. Jan asked the Emperor what he thought about this. Serena said that, on the contrary, she should apologize because she should not have run away. Jan said that the princess had a beautiful heart too, and she was not at all like His Majesty. Edwin added that the conversation had gone in the wrong direction. Father said that he called Serena here because a letter had arrived from Trail. He told her to take the letter and go to her place. Serena was very happy to receive a letter from her little brother. Serena turned to Archduke Jan and said that it was a pleasure to meet him. It was an honor for Jan to see the princess. She is a very open person. More precisely, she has finally blossomed. However, the Emperor heard that there was a commotion at Miss Shelley's tea party, to which the princess was invited. The Archduke thought the atmosphere had eased a bit. but everything was still the same. Jan said he had personally dealt with it. Edwin said that just because he had personally dealt with it, it didn't mean there weren't any problems. Jan added that his son was Jay, but the emperor said that he was free. He did not let him finish and drove the archduke away. There was a lot of snow. Serena said that when she met her dad, there was so much snow too. She wanted to make a snowman. The princess was told that the emperor was calling her. She asked her father what had happened since she and her brothers were here. Dad asked her not to be too scared and to listen. Trail was gone, missing in action. Serena started crying because he promised her he'd come back, and he said he'd come back as soon as possible. Dad asked her not to worry because the knights were looking for him now. But Serena was very scared, and she didn't know what to do if her brother didn't come back. The emperor told the little girl that everything would be fine and asked her not to worry. Lorraine turned to Theo and said that the same situation had already happened. Theo thoughtfully said that it seemed like the same situation had happened around this time 3 years ago. 3 years ago, a night squad reported Trail missing. Theo was 15 years old then, and Lorraine was 14. The emperor asked the knights if they had found Trail yet. He ordered the search area to be widened because they had to find at least some trace of the prince. A 3-day search operation yielded no results. One night, Theo heard a noise in the kitchen and found him there. Trail asked his brother why he was awake at this hour. Trail was 12 years old at the time. Theo didn't understand why he was there. Trail said he had arrived at the palace first, taking the shortest route, and didn't understand what was going on. After that incident, he appeared several more times, as if from thin air. So whole and unharmed that Theo even considered his excitement absolutely groundless. Her father assured Serena that nothing terrible had happened, because it was not someone else, but Trail. And he would return to them as if nothing had happened. As he always did, Theo asked his father if Serena had fallen asleep. Dad said that Serena had cried for a long time, and then fallen asleep. The emperor inquired about the search. Trail had disappeared near the forest, and it seemed to be moving, covering its tracks with its own hands. Edwin asked if he was safe, but Lorraine said it was unknown, adding that there was a blizzard raging now, so it would be difficult to find any traces. Theo didn't understand if he was really avoiding meeting people because there was no progress in the search operation either. Theo didn't understand why people were so corrupted inside. The father added that they needed to increase the number of members of the search party. Lorraine told the father to give Trail a good whack when he returned. Theo said he would smack Trail in the back of the head with his own hands for daring to make Serena worry. Father himself noted that this time he could not turn a blind eye to his actions. More snow fell. Serena did not understand if everything was okay with Trail. Serena decided that she needed to think positively and be positive. May asked Serena what she thought about serving lemon madeleines with tea today. Lorraine remarked that even now she was so cute. Serena had gone for a walk today. Their sweet little sister was waiting so patiently. But what was Trail doing? Rain asked Theo if he really would give Trail a single slap on the back of the head. Theo just broke his hands. Rain told him to breathe. Serena didn't understand why her brother hadn't returned yet. The place where she and Trail had been walking was completely covered in snow. Serena remembered how they walked there together, and Trail asked her if she would walk with him again. And now she only cries for her brother. 3 days before Trail went missing, the knight asked his commander if he was glad they had finished the mission early, as he had wanted. But there was something wrong with Trail. Trail said he had promised to come back soon. He ordered his deputy to lead the party to the village and wait for him there. The deputy did not understand why the commander so suddenly ordered them to leave first. Trail thought that he had killed everyone, but someone still survived. Of the dark sorcerers, the deputy could not believe that this little one was a dark sorcerer. Trail said that if he was not back by midnight, they should move to the imperial palace first. The knight asked the commander to be careful. He may be small, but the deputy was not going to show leniency to the likes of him. Trail said that if anyone survived, he saw no problem in destroying the root of evil again. This kid was able to block such an attack. Trail found it hard to believe that this kid had combat experience. Trail ignored him because he was still a kid. But look at what he can do. Trail asked how many he had managed to kill, but he denied everything. Trail knew that if he touched that black thing, he would be eaten. It was a familiar trick for Trail. If you get in, you're done for. The deputy was telling him to keep going and turn around. There are no other monsters like those two in the world. Trail said he was tired of playing hide and seek, so he had to come out. Trail ordered him to get out of the hole quickly, because he said he needed to get back quickly. Serena was waiting for him at home. Serena didn't understand why she was in the garden, because she was sleeping in her room. In the distance, she saw her brother Trail, but Serena didn't hear anything. Trail told her not to worry, because they would see each other soon. The baby woke up in a cold sweat. Serena decided she should go to the garden. May didn't understand where the princess was running. Serena ran through the entire palace and suddenly burst into the garden. Trail was not there. Serena started crying because Trail told her he would be back, and they would see each other soon. Serena started falling. The prince asked if Serena had come out to meet her brother. Trail caught the baby. It was the smell of the wind she had missed so much. Trail said he was back. Trail didn't understand what was wrong with Serena. The little girl started yelling at him for saying he would be back as soon as possible, but he himself disappeared and didn't get in touch at all. Serena screamed that Trail was bad and she hated him. She asked him if he knew how worried she was. Trail just said that was the way things were. Serena said she didn't know anything and she hated him, so she wouldn't go out with him. Trail never wanted that, because that was all he was waiting for. Trail told Serena that he was very sorry and asked if she could forgive him just once. Brother asked the little girl not to cry because she already knew that he was an idiot. Serena said that if he did it next time, but Trail said it wouldn't happen again. And at this rate, Serena would catch a cold, so they should go inside. Serena asked her brother what kind of child this was. The princess did not understand why he was connected, but Trail said that this was not a child, but a dark sorcerer. And he is dangerous, so Serena must not leave Lorraine's side for a while. Serena did not believe that this little child was a dark sorcerer. Trail asked Serena if his father and brothers were angry. His father noted that Trail had finally decided to sneak inside. Edwin told Trail he missed him. Serena had a feeling he wanted to bury someone alive. Dad asked to pick up Serena. Trail thought about just running away. He didn't want to give Serena up. Dad told the baby to come to him. Trail was totally against it. And Theo was here. Trail knew he should never turn back. His older brother was too restless to sleep. He was full of rage and fatigue. Theo asked Trail if he enjoyed the walk. Trail asked them to stop because he was late because of that bastard. Dad asked if this was the circumstance he was talking about. Lorraine asked Serena to look at him and added that from now on, she had better not turn her head towards adults. Trail asked for leniency towards them. Father said he had heard all his excuses. He asked Trail not to overdo it, because this pain could not compare with the worry of his family and the nightly order. Trail said he didn't think it would turn out this way either. The Emperor had ordered the ranting to stop. Theo told his father he didn't think one slap was enough. They asked Serena how many more times to hit Trail. The baby said just one more time. Trail asked Theo to wait. But Theo told him to grit his teeth, calculating strength based on age restrictions, working hard to raise healthy personalities in children. Her father remarked that Trail must have passed out from exhaustion, but Serena knew it didn't look like fainting. It looked strange, but he told his brother that it was supposed to be that way. Theo told Lorraine that something was strange on his end, too. Lorraine said that at least he was doing better than Theo. Lorraine asked if Theo had developed presbyopia. Rain asked why Theo's eyes were so bloodshot. Serena asked if she looked that weird. Theo said no, he just didn't want to show her to anyone else. Lorraine said that Serena would live next to her brother for the rest of her life. Theo told the little girl that she was always beautiful, and Lorraine added that they needed to practice more, and now he would let his hair down. Serena asked where her brother Trail was, but Lorraine said that little children needed to go to bed already, and if she wanted to grow up big, she needed to go to bed immediately. Brother Theo told them to go to bed first. Serena told Lorraine that she had one request for him. Lorraine listened to the little girl and agreed. Theo asked the sorcerer if he had come to his senses. He asked the dark sorcerer if he knew where he was now. Theo informed him that his fate would depend on his answer, and if he continued to keep his mouth shut, then death would be his only option. Trail apologized to his father. Edwin said that everything was fine and, most importantly, that he was fine. And he added that he was probably very tired, so he could go to bed. The prince asked his father what his verdict was on the latest news. He looked as pitiful as he could. Edwin said that Trail would be under house arrest for a while, and no objections would be accepted. And if he left the room, the term would be extended. Trail promised not to go out even under threat of death. And even if two sides of the world meet, he will not go out. Suddenly, he saw something in the window and did not understand what it was. It was magic, and Lorraine and Serena appeared in the window. They greeted Trail. The prince was very happy to see Serena because she looked like an angel. Trail held out his arms and was glad that the little girl missed him and decided to visit him. Serena said that she knew what he did was wrong. The knights of Trail's squad were also very worried about him. Serena asked him to apologize to them when they met. Lorraine said that his Serena was smart. Trail agreed. Serena asked him not to forget about their walk together. Trail asked if she really would go on a walk with him. Lorraine told the little girl that it was time for her to go back and go to bed, because if her father found out about her visit, they would be in trouble. Lorraine asked Serena if she remembered her promise to sleep with Rain. He was glad to see Trail locked up here. As expected, Lorraine is scarier than all of them put together. Serena should also know about the appearance he shows in front of him. Theo asked the sorcerer his name and repeated once more that if he remained silent, he would die instantly. Theo's father came and told him that he would now take care of it. The emperor asked the child his name. The boy replied that he was January. Then he asked how old he was, and the sorcerer said that he was 13. Edwin asked where the boy came from. He replied that he had escaped from the demon tower. The emperor realized that the remnants were still alive, but he didn't understand why the boy ran away from the tower. Jan said that if the members of the demon tower see someone with the abilities of a dark sorcerer, they drag that person away with them. And Jan wanted to ask for help, so he approached the night squad. He heard that the demon tower could not disturb this place, and he is even satisfied with the fact that he is in prison, and Jan simply asks to spare his life and leave him here. Theo said that if what he said was true, then we could look at his memories. He called Lorraine. He immediately teleported away. Rain repeated once more that he had already asked not to involve him in this matter. The emperor said that he wanted to know the memories of that child, and he needed Lorraine's help. Lorraine said that his father knew very well that he was not as rational a person as he and his brother. And even if the dark sorcerer was a small child, he was still consumed by the desire to kill him. Theo said that they needed this child's abilities to protect Serena. Lorraine didn't understand what use such a boy could be. Father said that perhaps they could find another way to get rid of the curse, other than the path of self-sacrifice that Mother had chosen. Lorraine said that this was the last time he would help in this way. He put his hand to his forehead and began to look. His memories of the past were not pleasant. The prince did not understand why a 13-year-old boy had such a meager amount of memories. At the age of 5, he was taken to a demonic tower, and then they subjected him to bio-experiments and various tortures. Having awakened the powers of the dark sorcerer, he, on the orders of the tower, destroyed several villages. The emperor asked if he had submitted himself, but Lorraine said that he had been forced, and on his neck was engraved a magical seal that would automatically explode if he resisted. Edwin asked why he had come to Trail. Hiding in the shadows, he fled the tower and began looking for someone who could help him, and Ian saw Trail during a raid and decided to contact him. The subsequent events are well known. He lost consciousness after a major fight, and he destroyed the seal. The other side thinks the child is dead. The father said that Rain did a good job, and Lorraine only said that he will not heal him. Theo asked his father if he had made a decision. Edwin ordered him to be moved to a room and to begin surveillance. Lorraine didn't know what to make of the fact that his Serena was beautiful even in her sleep. The bastards of the Demon Tower planted a similar seal on young children, but he managed to make it all the way unnoticed, even though he had a magical seal engraved on him. The nature of his power is different. This is the reason why he was able to escape without being under the sworn surveillance. If you do some research, everything will become clear. But right now, Lorraine is busy watching her sleeping little sister. Serena was simply beautiful, But suddenly, Theo burst into the room. Lorraine asked him if he was in his right mind. Because he almost woke up Serena. Lorraine didn't understand what exactly happened, since Theo even started stuttering. Theo asked him to be objective and cool, and asked what would happen if a normal boy met Serena. Rain asked if he was asking because he genuinely didn't know. Rain said that he would fall in love with Serena at first sight. Theo said that this meant that a similar problem could arise if that warlock protected Serena. Lorraine didn't understand what was going on, and Theo said that father had appointed that sorcerer as Serena's bodyguard. The Emperor sat in the room with that boy, the dark sorcerer, the one who made Serena feel pain that was impossible to forget, the creature that took Ariel from Edwin. He must disappear from the face of the earth forever. And the Emperor thought he should kill him, until the moment when the most precious thing in life is taken away from him again. The boy began to ask for forgiveness and apologize for being the only one who survived. Jan started crying and calling for his mom and dad, saying that it was all his fault. The boy saw his father. He was telling his son that everything was fine and that he should continue sleeping and stop crying. The Emperor knew he was no different from those bastards. He spoke to Ariel and said that this place where she was no longer was filled only with lost emotions. Because that curse wasn't completely broken, Lorraine the redneck is sure that the child cursed his father since he did that. Theo said he was nearby and saw no signs of anything like that, adding that his father's decision was logical. Theo noted that it was late and suggested that they continue the conversation tomorrow. Lorraine asked Theo if he was going to sleep there too. He said that there was an outsider in the imperial palace, and as the eldest son, he had a great responsibility, so he had to look after Serena. Lorraine said nothing special would happen, and even he decided to use that as an excuse. Theo told Lorraine to just go to bed. Lorraine was thinking about using him as a bodyguard for Serena's safety. Ian was asking what he wanted to tell him. The prince said that he had destroyed the magic seal that was on his neck, and now he was in the imperial palace, so he must behave appropriately. The gentleman said that he would now tell about the daily routine. In the morning, he would practice fencing under the guidance of the third prince, and in the remaining time, he would study academic knowledge and etiquette. And at night, he and Lorraine will research ways to break the curse, all for the sake of the man he will have to protect in the future. Jan asked again what they were talking about. Lorraine said that in exchange for staying here, he would have to be a shield for that child. He has no right to refuse. Jan said that he had no intention of refusing, and he was simply curious about who the person was that he would have to protect. The child he will have to protect is Lorraine's younger sister. The Empire's only princess is Serena, and Ian has to work his ass off to prove he's worthy of being around her, and he has to know that Rain doesn't kill as easily as those idiots. If he suddenly dares to commit some absurd act, he will not die. He will only lose both hands and will live out his days in torment. So from now on, Ian must be a good boy. As soon as Trail's punishment is over, he will immediately begin training, and until then, Ian can gain strength. A safe place where he won't have to starve or kill anyone. And even if he is used and thrown away, it will be to protect someone. Ian was quite happy with everything. Misunderstanding needed to be trained, since in the future, he would become Serena's bodyguard. It was Trail's responsibility to make him a knight. Trail didn't understand why he was given a ballast right after his sentence ended. Lorraine said it was his father's order. Fencing was his specialty, so he had to train him diligently. If there are any questions, Ian can come to his lab after lunch, and he will teach him a lesson. Trail apologized for his brother. Trail told the kid that if they both didn't want to die, they had to try their best. Trail told Ian that he needed to assess his skills first. If he couldn't keep up with him, there would be no mercy. First, a run in a circle. The boy was already running his 20th circle. Trail didn't understand why he was so good. From what I saw that day, the fighting style was strange. Starting with the temperament, different from other dark sorcerers. With such a rapid rate of skill development, he could become a very dangerous person. Ian asked if there were any other tasks for him today. Trail was shocked that he was ordered to teach swordsmanship to a dark sorcerer in order to protect Serena. Trail didn't understand why he should trust the dark sorcerer, and he didn't understand how he could give his sister over to his protection. He decided it would be much better to get rid of him right now. The prince heard his sister's voice and shouted that he was here. Ian couldn't believe that this man could have such an expression on his face. Serena was told not to run because if she continued like that, she would fall. Ian remembered that Serena was the one he would be obliged to protect in the future. Ian couldn't understand if it was true that the girl was a princess. Trail asked if she came to see her brother, and if she missed him, the person Ian will have to protect in the future. Serena said she missed him very much. The prince said his little sister was a real angel. Trail noticed that, as expected, only Serena was on his side. He didn't need anyone else, not his father or his brothers. Serena asked him not to cry. The princess asked her brother to put her down. She didn't understand why that child was there. Trail told her that he was ordered to make a knight out of him. Serena asked again, and the prince said that the baby said he wanted to protect the empire. Ian didn't understand when he said that. The little girl felt relieved because she was worried that he would continue to be locked up. Trail was very angry. He couldn't believe that Serena was worried about such a nobody. Serena pointed out that while training was important, he should remember to eat because the food here was delicious. Ian said he wouldn't forget to eat. Serena said if he worked hard, he would become a strong knight like her brother Trail. Serena wished him luck. Ian was very grateful. Trail said goodbye to his sister and asked her to be healthy and not to run too much, and looked forward to meeting her again. Trail informed him that he was in for some hellish training from now on. Serena decided that, unlike last time, she had done a good job of greeting him this time. Mayim herself noted that the princess was incomparable. Serena added that she did not stutter at all. Serena decided that if she kept practicing like this, she would. She made the right decision to go to practice. And it seemed like the kid and his brother were getting along well too. Although the main character was scared when Trail called him a dark sorcerer, but the looks that surrounded that child were much more frightening. Until today, he had stood alone against such hateful gazes. Somehow, his situation was similar to Serena's. The little girl decided that next time, she should try to come closer to him and talk, and at the same time apologize with a smile on her face. Father asked what Serena was thinking about so seriously. Serena said that she was thinking about a book she had read earlier, Deeper Foundations of Relationships with People. The emperor noticed that the little girl no longer called him daddy, and asked how about having a tea party if she had time for it. And of course, there would be all her favorite cakes. Serena said she liked it, and added that she would have a lemon tart. After all this time, they would finally enjoy a tea ceremony together. Edwin realized that his message must have arrived late. Archduke Jan had arrived. The man said that he was very pleased to see the two of them together. Ian added that he had received permission from Her Highness the Princess. He took his children with him today, Sir Jay and Lady Fox. Serena said it was her first time meeting people her age, so she was a little scared. I was really grateful that they were the first to reach out to her. Fox, even having seen her twice already, still had no limits to her surprise. Jay was grateful that she showed indulgence towards his younger sister's tactless behavior. The princess did not understand why Lady Fox was wearing a mask. Jay sheepishly said that there were reasons for that. A few hours before leaving for the imperial palace, Lisa didn't understand why they were leaving only her at home, because she was already completely ready. Father said that he thought that if she went there with her father, which also looks like a fish head, it will damage her dignity. But Lisa still did not want to stay home, and said that she would go too, and takes back her words about her father being ugly. Father said that it was bad to lie, and Lisa did not understand what a petty person he was. John apologized for the fact that her father was not very handsome and extremely cowardly. The fox said again that she really would be quiet and not cause any trouble. The father didn't know what to do and said that if she wanted to go so much, then they would do it this way. The condition was that any word that could come out of that ignorant mouth and cause injury to the princess had to be blocked. Brother told Lisa to be patient for a little while. Serena noticed that they had the same wonderful relationship as she had with her brothers. The main character realized that she probably felt a little uncomfortable because of the mask, and she wondered if there was any good way to get rid of it. Serena asked if she could share the conversation with them. Her father told her to do as she wished. Serena invited the children to see the imperial garden. The little girl told them that she really liked this place. Because of such a stupid mistake, they prevented the temperature from spending time with the princess. The emperor noted that Yang made mistakes too often, making excuses that he didn't know. Yang asked that if not such moments, then when else could he make fun of him? Edwin knew that the Archduke had not come to the imperial palace because of his children. Jan admitted it. You said that he was here about the child they had recently captured. The ruler suggested moving to another place because there were too many ears. Serena told Lady Fox that there was no one here except them, so she could take off her mask. The fox knew she couldn't, because if she broke her promise to her father, she would lose. She mentally apologized to the princess because her honor was at stake. Serena said with a smile that it was the princess's order, because she wanted to hear the beautiful voice of Lady Fox. The fox couldn't control herself and shouted that she didn't know anything and didn't care about any promises. The princess was her savior. The lady said that only she could give such an order, and even if she died on the spot, it would suit her perfectly. The fox told the princess that she liked her very much and really wanted to see her. Serena and Jay exchanged glances, and he took his hair in his hands. The guy apologized for his momentary tactlessness. An order means obedience. The higher the position, the greater the power contained in words. After all, the princess is also a member of the imperial family, and Jay doesn't understand what he was hoping for. Serena said that she wants to hear the beautiful voice of Lady Lisa here. They can completely relax. The princess does not try to limit anyone in her actions, but on the contrary, shows concern for those around her. That's the kind of person she is. Jay would have loved to get closer to her. He apologized to the princess for his momentary tactlessness, but her ribbon came undone. Sir Jay was shining like a gem. Serena said he was handsome. Serena told Lady Fox she had her favorite dessert in her hands. When the fox heard that the princess had a favorite dish, she decided that she must definitely try it. Serena asked her to eat slowly. Jay told his sister that she should observe the rules of decency. Serena told the lady that if she ate like that, she might get indigestion. The fox said she had a pretty strong stomach, so she would be fine. Jane would have liked to see her more often, but he decided that it would be too much of a burden for the princess. The Archduke said that this was undoubtedly true, and that no one would interfere with them. However, he did not understand why he restored the Empress's body to its original state. The dying will clearly states that the body must be cremated, and the Empress was the first to break her promise, that she would return. The Emperor said that he thought it best to close the subject, and that he wanted to know how Jan's husband's sortie had gone. The man said that his wife had said that she had not been able to see the landscape she wanted to see. But what the child had said was true. The woman greeted him. One of the researchers of the magic tower was captured. He begged to be simply killed. The woman said no way, because she had already told him. She had told him that he shouldn't be cunning and disappoint her. She was already barely holding herself together to avoid making a mistake that would end in her death. The emperor asked what she had been able to find out. Behind all this was the magic tower. Jan asked His Majesty to voice the truth about their hidden relationship with the magic tower. Since the Archduke's wife was directly subordinate to the imperial family, even he was not aware of the details of this matter. The emperor remarked that he knew that she was originally from the north and had come to the Eastern Empire before the Northeastern War. Yang said yes, and at that time, very few wizards came to the Eastern Empire. Moreover, she was born in the most magical tower. Ian was constantly expressing his dissatisfaction with Ariel back then. Her Majesty appeared in the Eastern Empire right before the war, so he thought that she might be an enemy spy. Thanks to the efforts made, only Yan and his wife know about her past. However, it is impossible to give a logical explanation for the magical tower being possessed by Her Majesty the Empress just because she was born there. Although the place of birth and the possession of strong magical abilities have a direct connection with this. But, in addition to everything else, she was the next ruler of the magic tower. This surprised Jan, but now he understood why the magic tower behaved this way. The two of them are truly a match made in heaven, a marriage of cheaters. Temperature asked if he had taken note that his wife was in on the act. Jan asked not to involve his vassals here, and added that a subordinate always does what he is ordered to do from above. The Archduke asked the Emperor what he was going to do with the magic tower now. Edwin said that he must pursue these monsters to the very end. They are not needed for the future of the Empire. The Archduke reported that John Sperato would carry out the imperial order. The fox said that as long as she was near the princess, black tea was sweet to her. Serena felt a great relief. Ian asked why Her Majesty had refused the position of the future ruler of the Magic Tower. He saw that Lisa had finally taken off her mask. The Emperor asked again if he was talking about the reason. The Archduke said that the place of the ruler of the Magic Tower is the most important desire of any wizard. Edwin recalled Ariel telling him that if someone dreamed of getting this place, it meant that he had problems in his head. The Emperor himself was surprised by her words. Ariel said that she didn't know what the world outside the imperial palace was like for their handsome crown prince. But from the outside, the same piece of bread or flour was extremely small. But this is exactly what her heart yearns for. After all, this is exactly what the girl she saw for the first time in her life gave her. She remembered how natural and radiant her smile was when she shared it with her. At that time, the Empress was exhausted because of the tower. But because of this child, the world began to look different. For others, it may seem like something insignificant and funny, but for her, this reason is extremely important. Ariel asked the ruler if he wanted to bet her that one day the day would come when she would be able to give up everything for one simple reason. Edwin said that he was the crown prince, and the word defeat was unknown to him, and she also wanted to make a bet with him. This is stupid. Ariel told him that it was because he hadn't found his soulmate yet, and she was sure that he would meet the one who would steal his heart. Serena called her dad. She told Edwin that he would be willing to risk everything for her. John, although he knew that there would be no mercy for him, felt as if he was dying on the spot. He couldn't feel his arms or legs, but nevertheless, the food here was delicious. And then Serena came up to him. He was very surprised and said hello. Serena asked him how he was living here. Ian said that he was doing very well and asked why the princess had come here. Serena placed a suitcase in front of him. Ian asked what it was. The girl immediately said that it was not some strange concoction, but just a dessert. The little girl told him that if you eat sweets when you're feeling down, you'll get strength, so she suggests that he cheer himself up. The princess said that it didn't mean anything special. It was just the only thing she could do for him, and she really wanted him to accept her dessert. The boy did not understand whether he had the right to accept such a favor. And then he decided to give it, stumbled, and began to fall right on the princess. Ian immediately started apologizing and asking if she was okay. He said that he had made a huge mistake and was asking for forgiveness. Serena asked if he was okay. The boy asked the princess if she was hurt anywhere. At first, he didn't understand what she was talking about. Serena said that she had a strong body, so he shouldn't worry. Serena said that more importantly, he might be hurt, so they should call a doctor. Ian said that everything was fine and she could ignore it. The cake fell on the floor. Serena was upset, but Ian said that it was okay because he could eat it like that. Serena asked him to wait because you can't eat that. It's okay because Jan is used to eating food that falls on the ground. It was delicious. The princess thought that this was something she shouldn't get used to. Serena said that from today on, she shouldn't eat anything that fell on the ground. The lady took the cake and said that it was not edible and added that she would bring a more delicious dessert. She promised to come tomorrow and said goodbye. Jan was surprised that they would be able to see each other again. And then he realized that he didn't even understand what he was hoping for. Theo was very angry. He did not understand how he dared to drop the food that his little sister brought. He continues to be nervous because of him. Serena decided that tomorrow she could take him these cookies. The father did not understand who the little girl was talking about. She said that she was talking about Yana, because the dessert she brought today fell, so it wasn't a very pretty situation. Trail didn't understand why she brought that brat dessert. He was completely alone, so she worries about him. But he is a stranger, whom she does not know at all, and for some reason she worries. It seemed to her that Jan's life was not as easy as hers. Serena said that seeing Ian try so hard made her want to do something for him. But Trail told her not to bother him because he could handle his own business. Serena didn't understand why Trail was acting like this, and she wanted to help him somehow, like her dad and brothers did. She didn't understand why she couldn't. She called Trail too selfish, a jack of all trades, and he had no idea what caring was, and she said she would never speak to him again. Trail begged Serena not to run away and leave her brother. Theo was sure that the bastard had definitely bewitched Serena with a curse. Lorraine agreed with this too. Father was not happy either, but he just watched it all silently. Serena asked May if she thought she had been too harsh on Trail, but the maid didn't think so. She assumed that His Highness was a little jealous because she was too dear to him, but Serena didn't understand why he would be jealous. The maid said that people are sometimes hurt by the fact that they have to share their loved ones with others. The lonelier a person is, the more upset he becomes. When someone you care about cares more about others. Now Serena understood Trail's true feelings. Trail didn't understand what he had done wrong. Trail thought she was expecting him to apologize first, but he decided against it. Someone knocked, and Trail let them in, but he didn't want to see anyone right now. But then he heard from the servant that he should then tell the princess to return to her chambers. The prince was immediately happy when he saw Serena. The little girl asked her brother to accept the dessert from her. He asked what it was, and Serena said that it was a gift as a sign of reconciliation. Trail was surprised that his sister was giving it to him. Serena said that he was more important to her than Ian, so she chose his favorite dessert for him. The girl asked her brother not to be jealous. Trail happily said that he also loved lemon cake and added that she was more precious to him than any dessert in the world. The brother apologized to Serena for making her angry. The little girl asked again if he would be offended anymore. Trail promised that he would not. Meanwhile, Lorraine was asking Ian what kind of curse he could cast. The boy said that he could cast a curse that would turn into ashes, anything living that it touches. Rain thought about it, because it was the first time he had heard of such a type of curse. There are as many types of curses as there are types of flowers in this world. However, there has to be a curse that can make the object it is directed at disappear without a trace. Rain asked Ian how well he could control the power he had. Ian said that when he wanted to cast a curse, he could do it. From the very first time, he hadn't been able to control his power properly. Lorraine understood him and started saying something to himself. The prince noted that whether a wizard or a dark sorcerer, the measure of one's strength is determined by how much energy they are able to extract. As the vessel grows, the power contained within it naturally increases as well. In other words, if the vessel is not perfect, it will be absorbed by the force inside. Ian was shocked when he found out about it. Lorraine said that he had to learn to control this ability first. Rain saw his memories. The prince does not sympathize with him, but he thinks he should tell him the reason why they are forced to do all this. Although the outer princess looks very small, she is actually the same age as Ian. Her body was rotted by the curse, so time had to be reversed, causing her to become the small child that you see her now. And the culprit of what happened was a dark sorcerer. Lorraine's younger sister suffered more than anyone present here. Mom was with her all the time. The baby was in pain, very much so. Rain personally witnessed all this and apologized to the baby. He can't forget for a second what happened that day. Mother turned back time to save little Serena, but the price was too high for her. Every night the child had nightmares. The pain that should have gone away was imprinted in her memory. The main character was scared and in a lot of pain. Dad was there and told her that everything was fine. The emperor asked his daughter not to cry, because it was just a dream and the pain had long since subsided. Seeing strangers, the princess immediately hid. Lorraine invited Serena to go into the garden with him to admire the flowers, but the little girl did not want to. Their little sister had changed dramatically in the time they knew nothing about, and was now just beginning to blossom again. Now Jan understood why they looked at him like that, but he didn't understand why the princess was so kind to him. Lorraine only added that this is the kind of person Serena is. She treats everyone equally without any discrimination. And now he must understand how difficult it was for them to make this decision. Therefore, John also had to try his best, both as a dark sorcerer and as a knight's apprentice. John himself understood this very well. In the morning, Serena came to Ian. She greeted the guy and held sweets in her hands. She said that these cookies were not as beautiful as the dessert she brought last time, but they are very tasty and the guy should like them. Ian was very grateful. Serena asked if he had any favorite sweets, because she can bring anything. Ian said that he was quite satisfied with what he had already been given. He told the princess that she did not need to do this anymore. Serena was very surprised and asked again. The main character knew that Ian shouldn't feel guilty. Ian wanted to tell her something, but the little girl interrupted him. Serena suggested that they meet here at the same time tomorrow. Ian was shocked. The princess said that she would come again, so he should definitely be here tomorrow. Ian tried to say something, but Serena wouldn't let him. The main character decided that she wouldn't back down. And the next day again, and the following days too. Serena continued to come to meetings with Ian. The guy knew that if he continued to accept what she brought, it would never end. Ian decided to ask Serena why she kept doing all this. The guy asked if she knew that he was a dark sorcerer, but the little girl knew it, and she understood that he was dangerous. Jan told her that not so long ago he lived in a magic tower, and in order to escape, he abandoned everyone who was near him and got out alone. Before he managed to escape, he destroyed innocent dimensional inhabitants, sending a curse to stay alive himself. Jan wiped more than one village off the face of the earth and couldn't even count how many people he killed with those hands. The guy asked how he looked in her eyes now. He asked if she still felt pity for a murderer like him. Ian told her not to try to get close to him anymore. The boy decided that he had no right to what the princess was giving him. But he shouldn't forget what happened, even while eating. If someone were to suffer because of him again. Ian said that he doesn't need what the princess gives him. It's a burden and makes him feel extremely uncomfortable. Serena was very upset because she wanted Ian to be as comfortable as possible here. But she was too carried away by her obsession. The princess began to apologize to John and said goodbye. After that meeting, the princess did not come either the next day or the week after. Theo asked Serena why his little sister looked so sad. Serena asked her brother if the boy really killed people. The little girl didn't understand why Ian told her not to come near him. Serena assumed that she had offended him somehow. Theo asked his sister if the boy had told her that he had killed someone. Serena confirmed that he had killed villagers. The prince told his sister that what he said was true. However, Jan's family was taken hostage, so he had no choice but to obey without question. The magic tower did this to test his abilities. Ian was subjected to all kinds of torture and experiments, and lived in the tower like a slave. Theo asked her sister if her mother had told her what the magic tower was. The little one denied it. Brother said that in that case, he would tell about her, because now she should have such information. The magic tower is not part of any country. A bunch of arrogant bastards who think wizards are the center of the universe. For the sake of their knowledge, they don't mind killing or experimenting on living beings. For them, wizards from other countries are an obstacle. As the number of talented people increases, their position becomes more precarious. Therefore, among their opponents, the one they didn't want to see the most was their mother, who bore the title of Archmage. Mother possessed enormous power. The magic tower tried everything to take Mother to itself, but with each attempt, they had to face powerful countermeasures from Father. In addition, they were going to prevent the marriage between Father and Mother. As a result, a war broke out. The so-called military action between the Empress and the magic tower. The war ended with the victory of the Emperor's family, but the defeated decided to use the shadow side to increase their strength. The so-called dark sorcerers. They turned children into killers for their own gain. Serena thought of Ian. The girl said it was too much and couldn't understand how they could do something like that. Theo said that the people in the magic tower had no idea what morality and etiquette were. The fact that that boy, being in such a place, was able to remain sane was a unique case. Serena still found it all strange and didn't understand why he was so stubborn about avoiding her. Theo took his sister's hand. He told her that Ian was simply afraid of hurting her because he couldn't control his power, so he had no choice but to act this way. Serena asked him sternly if he knew about her curse. Theo said that Ian knew everything, but all this was being done for her own safety. At the same time, Theo asked Serena if she wanted to try some cake. The main character felt a great relief, because he didn't say that because he hated her. The fox told her brother that she would never be able to give in to him on this matter. and she said that she would take away the opportunity to spend happy hours with the princess. She decided to be a righteous thief. Jay told his sister that she was crazy, but she was crazy to begin with, and he misspoke a little. The fox was very angry. The servant was wondering who would win this time. Jan did not understand why he was asking about something so obvious. The fox said that she was going to have a serious talk with the princess, and she doesn't understand where her brother is trying to stick his nose in. The lady said that if you look at the appearance of her older brother, in comparison with her, sometimes he looks so beautiful and fragile. It feels like it would take just a little breeze to knock him over. Jay said that it's true that many people are confused, because he is much more beautiful than his little sister, who looks like a bull from a bullfight. And he told her not to worry because her brother loves her even with her looks. Lisa was very angry, but Jay said that everything was fine. The true beauty of a person is not on the outside, but on the inside. She had gaps in her inner beauty too. She is like a wild animal. In the East, there is a theory that if you eat wormwood and garlic for 100 days, you can become a human. He asked if she wanted to try. Lisa didn't understand how he could even say that to his only sister. Jay told his father that at this rate they would be late. The Archduke agreed. The fox was very angry with Jay and told him to go back because she had not finished her sentence. This was very surprising for Ian, because they are siblings, but they have nothing in common. One, if something bothers him, deals with the problem in a way that would not be difficult for a mosquito to understand. The other one uses her fists first. They had been arguing more often lately because of the princess, and Ian assumed it was because they had never had any friends. Jay told his father that he too knew that, as the older brother, he was being too childish with his younger sister. And although he feels a little awkward talking about it, he just wants to see the princess again. Or rather, as the princess's loyal subject, he's interested in whether everything is all right with her. An unheard of occurrence. After all, there are times when he looks his age. Jan perfectly understands his desire to see the princess, which brought spring back to that cold imperial palace. Serena was very happy to see Archduke Jan. The little girl asked if he had come to meet his daddy. Jan confirmed this and asked if he could find out where she was going. Serena said that she was going to her brother Rain. The man understood her. Jay apologized. He said that he actually came to the imperial palace with his father to see her. However, if she already had an appointment, she could ignore it. Serena said he should have sent her a message ahead of time and arranged a visit. Jay admitted that he had been extremely unwise. They had been incredibly tactless. Jay promised to always send a request to meet her in writing from now on. But today, he was a little upset that he couldn't spend time with her. His father was shocked by what he was saying. Serena did say that she had some free time, so she could at least have a cup of tea with him. The guy apologized for disrupting her schedule, but the princess said that everything was fine, and he could follow her, because there were no problems. Ian was in complete shock. Jay thanked the lady. Jay told his father that he needed to go and meet His Majesty as soon as possible, because if he was delayed because of him, you wouldn't be able to present yourself to His Majesty with dignity. While Jay is with Her Highness, Ian can quietly resolve any work issues that may arise, and under no circumstances should he interfere with their happy time with the princess. But it really is sometimes very scary. Jay asked Serena if it was true that he could send her a letter. Serena admitted that it would be a first for her because she had never sent letters to anyone other than her family. Serena asked to listen to her request if it is not tactless. Then she asks Jay to become her friend. The guy asked again in surprise. The princess said that if her request was somewhat burdensome to him, he could be something like a friend. Jay asked if he would be Her Majesty's first friend. Jay smiled and said that he was fine with it, and it was the greatest honor of his life to become Her Highness's first friend. Sir asked if it would really be possible to send him letters. Serena was all for it, because they were friends and she liked such friendly relations. Lorraine was very curious about where his younger sister was now. The second prince was informed that Her Highness the Princess was a little late for her meeting with him. Rain hoped that nothing had happened to her on the way and decided to go and check himself. The servant said that the princess had asked him to tell her that she was going to have tea with the young Master Sperato. They told the prince that if he waited a little, Her Highness would come soon. Lorraine quickly teleported to his sister. He asked Jay if he dared to challenge the prince. Serena asked Jay what sweets he liked, and he asked her the same question. Serena said she liked lemon tart, which had a nice tartness to it. Jay was surprised by the coincidence, because he liked that dessert too. Jay noticed that they had similar preferences. Serena was very happy, because today Sir Jay was beaming with happiness. The guy said that he thinks about Her Highness every day and wants to see her. He wondered if Serena felt something similar too. Serena was about to answer, but then Lorraine appeared. The little girl was very scared, because he appeared out of thin air very suddenly.